Welcome back. It is another episode of Very Vehicular. As always, I am your host, Brian Scotto, and today's episode I'm dubbing Generational Conflict. All right, so here's the idea. We're going to take a bunch of different concepts and topics, and we're going to talk about them through different POVs. Myself, in my late 40s, I represent Gen X. Ron Zaris, who you guys all should know and love, represents the millennials, and we bring a new guest to the table, Mr. Chaz Warren, aka Chazzy, who, if you don't know him, is a really rad up-and-coming photographer who's been capturing a part of car culture. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of only watching from afar, and he, in his 20s, represents Gen Z. It was really fun, mostly to kind of hear Chazzy's perspective on all of these things. And obviously, if you disagree, tell us so in the comments. Enjoy it. What's up, Chazzy? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Brian.
Welcome back, Ron, as always.
That's such a great way. What up? I'm back. I had to be here for this one. I had to be here with the homie Chaz.
Yes.
All right, so I just want to set the table for what we're going to do, right? So the idea here is we're calling this generational conflict because each of us have like about a decade apart, right? Like, how old are you?
I'm 27.
39. Just turned. I
liked it better when you were 38, but
I did too. Trust me.
And I'm unfortunately 46. So we each have we each represent almost like its own generation. And on this show, topics always come up and we're always talking about it. And at some point, one of us is like, I don't know, but maybe younger generations into that. Like,
we just don't know.
We just don't know.
We found out.
It's like whether it's like Burble Tune or Takeovers or like whatever, we're like, we're getting old, right? So we're starting to get crotchety and cynical, and we're just looking at that stuff going, maybe we need to bring a younger person on. And like, you're probably the youngest person we know, at least in Los Angeles.
It's an honor.
Yeah. So you unfortunately are going to represent the entire delegation for the young guns.
Everybody 30 under.
Yeah. Okay. All this. So if you're
it's all on you.
If you're listening to this show and you disagree,
don't give me a hard time, but I hope I get most of these answers right. And
it's not even answers, it's opinions. There's nothing opinions. To get wrong. Yeah. It's just opinions.
I think I have pretty good opinions, but I guess we'll see.
But before we get into all of that, not that you need to tell your whole life story, but how'd you end up here? And I don't mean in Long Beach, but like you've built a pretty cool thing around yourself over the last couple of years. Ron turned me on to you first. I think you were the first one who was like, yo, this kid's doing some really cool stuff in photography. It's like really capturing the community. And that's like when we were still at Hooning.
Yeah. And just before you answer real quick, because I know you're pretty humble about the whole thing. Like, I started Instagram, Facebook. Oh God, no, nobody's on Facebook.
Mostly showing your age.
Mostly on IG.
MySpace.
It's this echo chamber. Like, somebody sees somebody doing something cool, they repeat that kind of shot. I started seeing your photos come out, and I was like, damn, not only is somebody shooting cars on film and putting it into digital, but your style was super unique, and you weren't biting anybody else's stuff. It was really cool to see that, that soft focus film grain. But also your access was crazy. You were already shooting wild stuff. So I having shot photos for a lot of my life, it's rare that I see an account come up where I'm like, damn, that's really cool. It's hard to have photos that get your attention on Instagram anymore. That was you, man.
Thank you, man.
I genuinely liked your stuff.
So how'd you end up here?
Man, well, I guess a soft introduction to me if you don't know who I am. My name is Chaz Warren, also known as Chazzy Dog on social media. And I just love cars and cool stuff that guys like. I mean, because I have maybe 10% girls following me out of all
10%.
10's honestly,
bro,
solid.
You're stacked.
Yeah,
you're stacked. Yeah. I'm 90%. I'm 97% dudes.
Yeah. I'm at a 5, and I think Vin was at a 1.8 or something.
Yeah. Trust me, the other 3% are women who know me because they're friends with my wife.
Right.
So anyway,
man,
you're doing all right.
I started liking cars from Midnight Club 2. If looking back, I got a PlayStation 2, and Midnight Club and Gran Turismo were the only 2 games I had. And I enjoyed playing Midnight Club so much just because it was free world. You could speed, run from cops, all that stuff. And the first car that I knew was a dream car of mine was the Selena 7 because that was the last car you could unlock in the game. And it was called like a weird name for copyright reasons probably.
Yeah.
So I looked it up on the internet and I was like, oh, that's a Selena 7. And if you know Ball of Midnight Club 2, then you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that game was it was kind of revolutionary in a way because most car games before that were like either a racing sim or like, you know, it didn't capture the vibe the way Midnight Club did.
It was either Gran Turismo, which was trying its hard to be realistic, or it completely lived in the arcade world.
Yeah.
And there was like a culture piece that Midnight Club brought that felt really rad.
Yeah.
I remember because I was literally working in the business already by then when you were 7. But whatever, we'll skip past that.
So pretty much that game inspired my whole life. And during COVID, a lot of people might have been inside, but I was definitely outside. Like whether it was drifting or stuff like that, like I was just out there. And then I fell in love with cars even more, and then the photography kind of went hand in hand with that, and I just used the camera to capture the moments that I was around, and I was very inspired by vintage aesthetics, and it goes on from there.
And is that's what got you to film shooting? Because the first time I hired you, you showed up with nothing digital. Yeah. It was all film, and I was like, "Oh, this dude's no joke."
Yeah. I love the way film looks. Even when I was shooting digital before I learned how to shoot on film, I was trying to make it look like film.
Oh, you were throwing the filters on.
Yeah, I was trying to just, I don't know, find out a way. And then I finally got a couple shoots where I can pay for film, and then I just had to dive straight in. And all my friends at the time were already shooting film, so it was
nice.
Cool.
What got you into photography?
I think like video game covers, like Midnight Club. There we go. We go back to Midnight Club. The cover of that game was like a car drifting on the wet ground with a bike behind chasing them, and the lights of Tokyo behind there, and it just like that whole game was just like how I wanted to live my life at that point. And luckily, like I didn't know it would kind of get to that point actually in my life, but the camera has brought me there.
Did you grow up here in LA?
I have, yeah.
So for
Since
you,
I was born.
which is cool because you have like this immediate access to car culture in a way like other people don't.
It has been kind of a cheat code, no cap.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you grew up in like, you know, whatever, Kansas City, like there'd probably a lot less supercars there.
Your standards get a bit lower too.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do the photos. Nothing against Dodge SRT4s, but you're gonna shoot the one SRT4 that's in town that, you know, has like a off-color door. I guess by the way,
the SRT4 catches way too much shade on this show. I don't know why. I always go there. And like, I think we need to just start moving some of the shade to the Cobalt SS because that is the what I call it the other day.
The Midwest Civic.
It's the Midwest Civic.
Oh wow,
that's not meant to be derogatory, by the way.
Sorry, I literally interrupted that.
We love
just
the Midwest.
to shade both those cars.
Yes.
But yeah, so and then from there, I mean, you are like kind of humble because you quickly grew this like aesthetic and look, and then all of a sudden you had all this access and you're shooting all these crazy supercars and hypercars, and did that start from like going to like cars and coffee type things?
Yeah,
and like
so
doing like car spotting type stuff. But and not to say you're in that world because you really have transcended into like this whole other space. But like, how did you first get access to that?
it's weird because before COVID, there weren't really like different categories of car meets, in my opinion, from what I've experienced. Because I was in college, like I just remember a friend telling me, "Yo, come to this car meet," and then it would be very nice at the beginning, and then like an hour later, like some muscle cars would show up, and then at the end, before takeovers and all that were a thing, people would just do burnouts leaving. It seems like, and it was just a car meet. That's what a meet was, in my opinion, when I got introduced to the scene.
Right.
And yeah, that's kind of just how it was.
And then over time, you notice them getting a lot more specialized, like supercars only.
Yeah, I think,
or JDM.
Yeah, because social media started taking off around that time too. And how I kind of got into supercars and hypercars was because I was really into cars shooting flames, like, but twin turbo cars. And like, I remember seeing a photographer named Michael Rigo taking photos of this one Huracan that was twin turbo shooting flames in New York. And I remember I was just like, I need to get a print of this, and I put it on my wall. And then again, Hooning, shout out Hooning. I saw Gymkhana, the Los Angeles one, and I saw Larry's photos, and like that was really inspiring. So I was just in love with both of those things, you know. Yeah.
And was that, so were you already shooting photography at that point?
I
Or did
just started, yeah. So
that's what, 2013,
14.
14?
Yeah.
yeah, but I was shooting mostly landscapes. I didn't start going to car meets until 2018,
Oh,
2019. Yeah, yeah.
Because you mentioned this before, that like before the cameras turned on, you were kind of saying how you were doing photography and like now you've caught the drifting bug and like you're like transitioning from sort of like spectator to participant.
Yeah.
Was your first interest more the photography of cars and like capturing that versus cars themselves?
I think true to heart, I really, really just love cars and what cars can do. So along with that, I definitely had an eye for photography, and I kind of combined the two. And then bringing in the aesthetics and film, that was the vibe I really, really liked. So I just combined all of this stuff together, and it became a really nice photo sometimes. And with that, I think with social media, just people saw it, and I used the opportunity to try and reach out to people I would see at meets and stuff.
So you were reaching out to them at first, and then I imagine that eventually swapped.
Yeah.
When people started to reach out to you, being like, "Hey, I got this thing. You want to come shoot it?"
Yeah, the first photo shoot where I really took it serious was this Pro Charged Mustang, and it was when the Pro Charger was first a thing. It was the only Mustang that sounded like how it did, and I remember going up to him at a car meet and was like, "Bro, we should shoot sometime. Like, I got this camera, and we should just make something happen." And I had no idea how to shoot manual or anything. Yeah. And I remember he was like, "Let's take rollers," and I didn't even know how to do that. I just put it. I was like messing with
Trial by
everything.
fire.
I was like, "Okay, it looks like this." Before I shot with film, it was digital still.
Yeah.
And then I just winged it, and then half the battle is editing, in my opinion. So just posted it, and then when car pages were featuring a lot of work back then, Mustang Magazine reached out and they posted the photos, and then that kind of just got it started from there. I started reaching out to more people.
I taught Ron how to shoot a camera in the trenches in like 3 minutes, and then he became a way better photographer than me. So weird how that
it was
works.
crazy. We were in Turkey. That was my first World Rally Championship race, the first event I ever did where, you know, Ken was running things. And we're in a rental car and we're running. I can hear the car in the distance. And Scotto, as we're running towards the stage, not in the car, not at the hotel, like as we're running towards the stage, hands me a camera. It was like a Canon 20D.
It was a 20D.
With like a whatever lens on it. And he's like, "All right, check it out. This is kind of, you know, it's fast action, but you don't want to park the car. So put your shutter down to like, I don't know, start at 250 and then go down from there." And I'm like, "All right, tight." And I hear like the car coming, like in rally, you hear the car like noise
Miles
bouncing
away,
off the mountains and stuff like that. And then like Ken just comes over this crest, jumps, like the car bucks, like, you know, back high. And I'm like, "Drrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr SC jump for the first time, and then I looked down at the camera, and it was right there, and I was like, "Yo, this is sick! This is the coolest feeling of like I caught what that felt like to me." Terrible photo, but
to stop time and
yes,
that was awesome too. Like when I was taking rollers of the Mustang on my first shoot, like seeing that come to life was like, oh my gosh, like this
it's crazy.
Is yeah, I remember the feeling. You
That's how you get hooked.
That back for me.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then I immediately yelled at him, "Come on, dummy, we got to get back in the car.
We got to go to the next stage.
Go to the next stage."
Oh man, yeah, that was, I was goofy, man, but like that takes you to another place. Like your brain just starts working in a totally different way. Every time you see a car action, you're like, this is how I want to see it. Yeah, that's cool. And your whole view of that was influenced by a video game. Mine was influenced by watching rally cars on Speed Channel.
Oh, wow.
You know, like on TV, when TV used to have cool stuff.
And I'm going to date myself because my inspiration goes back to Knight Rider. Shout out to David Hasselhoff.
Nice.
And the A-Team, which is probably why I like Vans so much. It's a weird...
That's such a realization.
I'm having a moment right now. You guys can talk
crazy.
amongst yourselves as I start to unpack why I'm so into Vans.
Why he likes brolic looking fast Vans.
B.A. Baracus is probably the reason.
Yep.
Bro had a style.
He had
a look.
He had drip.
I was super into that when I was a kid. I remember wearing like overalls and like fake chains when I was younger. Yeah. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
nice.
I mean, so here's a question. This is a question that I ask. I usually reserve this question for like the older heads, right? So like when John Nadiri was here or Steph Papadakis, like I asked them this question of, do you currently think automotive right now, culture-wise, is peak, right? And I'm not going to tell you what they said. I want to kind of understand because you've been in it for a shorter period. And perspective changes as you get older because the whole timeline starts to get smaller,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you got into car culture when you were really young around video games, and then like Tokyo Drift and things like that were a part of it. But then you really dived into it, as you said, in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's been 8 years. Like, where do you think car culture feels for you right now?
Well,
Is it up? Is it down? Where is it?
It's weird because I feel like car culture as a whole, as the whole planet Earth, is the most popular it's ever been. Like people getting into cars as far as F1, social media and stuff like that. I think it's because many different things. I think technology might have peaked with the car. Like, okay, now cars are super, super heavy and more like the hybrid system and the batteries.
Disconnected.
You know, the conversations we all have had before.
Yeah,
But,
They've gotten big and numb.
yeah. I feel like before that was when cars were peak as a driving experience because it's still all you. You don't have to press one button and the whole traction control is off, you know.
Right.
Now it's like you have to make sure all of this stuff is a lot of rules and stuff. So I think everyone getting into cars right now, this is the peak to do it because we still have people working on old school cars as well as new school cars are coming out right now, which is controversial for me because I don't really like the way new cars look, honestly.
What's your favorite generation of cars? Like
I would
years?
say it's a long range, I think, from honestly since the first Countach to
Damn.
before COVID.
Okay.
That's a good run.
I was going to ask, when you say old school car, like what's an old school car to you? I know that's a broad question, but like give me.
I would say, I think, yeah, starting from the 90s up is the modern era.
Okay, what's crazy is a classic car is defined as 25 years old.
Right.
So a 2001 is considered, so like a 2001 Mark IV Jetta is technically a classic car today.
Crazy.
Which is crazy because to me, like when you say the word classic, I just think like a Tri-5, like a 55 Chevy or something.
See,
like
I
that's
think
still
like
classic for
Chevy
me.
Nova or like,
Right.
you know, that
70s
like
era.
late 70s muscle car era.
Yeah, but like technically 25 years old is
So
classic.
to you, old school is like E36 M3.
It's getting there now. Like
Okay.
when I first got into cars, I thought I really, really wanted that car, but now like cars have gotten faster. Like it's shifted from the 90s to the cars I want to like early 2000s.
Well, what are you driving now? What do you drive here today?
I drove a E92 M3. Shout out SPD Motor Group. They are helping me throw events and they're giving me cars to drive. So
Is that your car or just the car you're driving?
it's the shop car, as
that's
you
cool.
call it, yeah. But no one at the shop drives it because there's other cool cars they drive, so they kind of just threw it to
A
me.
man of fine taste.
You had
by
one
the
of
way.
those.
Yes, I did. It was one of
Vinny
my
had a
favorite
couple?
cars I've ever owned. Yeah. And I like way analog raw cars. Like I like, you know, rally type stuff that's super light, manual gearbox, all-wheel drive, no ABS, like nothing. So to me, the E92 was like, oh, I'm living luxury. Like this is crazy. But you know.
I think as a driver, I think we might have passed peak. But as a car enthusiast,
Right. That's what I mean is the
know?
culture.
Yeah. The culture itself with everybody, like photographers, people who are just like looking at cars, all that, I think it is at its peak because there's just so much to embrace and look at. But if you're purely just trying to drive, I mean, who's making manuals anymore? Almost nobody, you know. So
But do you feel like it is still growing? Like, is there room to grow?
I think so. I
Okay.
think drifting is the next wave. I really do.
Next wave.
Next wave,
Oh,
yeah.
that's-
I feel like
That wave's been going for like 20 plus years for us. But
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like, it's just you can see everything. Drifting used to be, from what I know.
What
from
is
what I
drifting?
know.
When you see drifting, like how do you define it? Like what is drifting to you?
I think it's an art form of cars. It's really pushing the car to its max as well as creating art. I think tire marks are art. I think the smoke is art. I think the way people turn into a corner is your different styles. Obviously the Japanese is huge points for that. You know?
Where do things like Formula Drift live in drifting for you versus things like Final Bout versus just like Street Jammers?
Man, I think Final Bout is really cool because the tandems that they do, like 10 cars, teams, like if you guys all got to hit it. And like, I think just seeing a train of cars drifting is the coolest thing ever. Cause it's like, wow, like you all are really hitting that shit. You know?
Yeah. And where does FD live for you?
Oh man, I'm still learning drifting, obviously.
Yeah.
That's why it's interesting to us.
Yeah.
I think D1 Japan is the king of drift events right now because it's a mixture of both style and, you know, like really hardcore like points, you know?
Yeah.
I think Formula Drift is so specific and you have to get the line perfect. I think Japan, you have a little more leeway. You should do backies into a corner, you know? You shouldn't just directly get to the zone. You should do it with style, you know? And I think drifting should be more focused on style, I feel like.
Who are your like top 3 drivers in drifting right now?
Oh man, I think James Dean, obviously, the machine.
Good man.
Yeah.
I'm going to Japan soon to watch Daigo Saito drift. I've only seen videos.
He
but,
is
you know.
an absolute amazing driver, and I remember when he came to the U.S. and just upset the entire year. Like
In an SC 430 one
in
year.
an FC 430 that was like
The weirdest platform. And he just crushed
just so
it.
unexpected
Yeah.
and just made a lot of grown men cry.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, emotion, you know.
Well, like in both ways. He made competitors cry because I don't think I argue that he introduced like the pillow smoke era of drifting because his car was making so much more smoke.
And he
than
cut
it
holes out of the
was.
fenders to put more out
Yeah,
there.
like there was so much more thought into that. It was super cool. He's also an amazing human being. Like I just love Daigo. I love hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
But okay, so James Dean, Daigo, and then who's your third?
Who's your third?
I mean, I recently had some tandems with Larry Chen, and his energy while you're drifting with him is so contagious. He's like, let's keep doing rounds. I'm like, my tires aren't wires, but okay. Like, you know, the enthusiasm he gets when
And
he
that's
drifts.
because you get someone you get to go drive.
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You familiar with like the Animal Style boys, like Julian Jacobs and those guys?
I need to see more of them for sure.
Those are
everyone
like,
talks about
they're
them.
like some of my favorite.
For
teams
me
to
in the
watch
US, there are some of the guys that embrace that Japan spirit where it's style's super important, but also driving aggression is super important. Like anytime you see those dudes behind the wheel, it is the most aggressive entries, the most aggressive mid corner, and somehow also exit. And they just every time they're behind the wheel. And it's not like, you know, how much side bite do I have and how much, you know, like can I put on this guy? It's like, no, just as aggressive sounding and looking as possible.
Yeah.
They also they've been driving together for so long that like they just know each other's style so well, and it's like that part's great. They also like really went hard when no one else was, like shipping their cars to Japan.
Yeah, that
and,
was
like,
really
doing
cool.
a tour and compete out there and like all of that. And they also really stand behind the idea of like cars don't need to make 1,000 horsepower.
Yep.
Like just have a car that
Drive
you
what
can
you got.
drive all weekend. Like that's more important than building like some crazy YouTube car that breaks, you know, or like trying to drive a pro car or something like that. So switch subjects real quick. Right now, if you had $100,000, I hand it to you to go buy a new car from the dealership, what do you go buy? And all three of us will answer it.
Oh man. Okay.
Entering generational conflict. Question 1.
I think Supra, new Supra.
Okay.
A90.
Okay.
Because they just came out with manual versions, right? And stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I think
so
like
they're
2 years
definitely
ago.
targeting the enthusiasts with that. I mean, I know the Z2, but one of those two, I can't really pick the new Z or the new Supra for sure.
Oh, the 400Z?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay. Wow.
You know, that
It's
car,
such a rare
that
mention.
car lives in my blind spot all the time.
All the time.
Every
it's
time
slept
someone
on.
says it, I'm like, oh, right. They introduced a new car. I mean, I just think that was like a major flop from Nissan because there was so much excitement around like the first return of the Z, the 350. I was there when that happened. And then like that car continued to have a hero status. And then I think they just delayed the new Z for so long that by the time it finally came out, it was like, okay. But do you remember, I was going to throw back, but do you remember like Chevy did that with the new Camaro in the mid 2000s?
Transformers.
Like they were talking, exactly.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They released it as Bumblebee, and then we didn't see it for another 3 years, and then we saw like a kind of like, you know, broken down version of like what we had seen as the concept car. And I feel like unfortunately Nissan just found
I mean, the Supra as well, the FT1 concept. Everyone was like, oh my God. And I remember when the Supra first came out, like no one liked it, but now that this is the new gen. I think we've kind of
The
accepted it.
super hate was weird for me, and I'm obviously like a Euro snob, but they're like, it's 2 BMW. And I'm like, is that a bad thing?
Yeah,
I don't think it is anymore.
How
Now
is
that I've
that
driven
bad?
one.
They are literally the ultimate driving machine. I'm not a BMW fan, and I will still admit, like, they are very good at building cars.
They are.
They are.
I give them all their props because
Yeah.
the E92 M3 is so good.
Yeah, yeah. What are you buying, Ron?
I mean, listeners of the pod will know I'm a big fan of the GR86.
Yeah, that's
so
fire too.
I know that's way under the budget, but then spend
okay.
the rest on track time and tires, right? Like that car to me is like peak driving experience of like feeling like I know with my hand exactly what the front tire is doing. Like it's telepathic and like super predictable, and it's just so fun to flick around. Like the A90 Supra has really grown on me a lot. Like I see a yellow one on the highway, I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I get it. And I've driven one. I drove the manual one when it came out, drove the auto one on track. Great car. But to me, it's still like that little bit of numbness is there where the GT86, GR86 is
Still
like
very raw.
perfect. Such a sick car.
I know this was my
those
question, but I absolutely did not prep for it. It's like while the
It's
both of you-
hard.
I was like, what would I actually? I hate to say it because I already had one before, but I'd probably buy a C8 Corvette.
That's
like
nice
the,
too.
Oh yeah.
Because like
Wow.
bang for the buck,
Yeah.
what you can pick one up for like new 70 or something now. I don't
All
know
right.
whether at 80.
That was a blind spot
but
for
like
me.
that's like it's a really good car, and it feels special for the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like that one's pretty cool.
Great on track. Love that car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think you like when I was your age. There's no way in hell I would have ever admitted to wanting a
Yeah.
Corvette.
Corvette.
but
Yeah.
that's
But
shifted
that
a
one,
bit.
that one's like that one's stepping a little further away from the K-Swiss, you know?
Yeah. K-Swiss.
Yeah.
Have they elevated from that? It was New Balance. Is
New
it
Balance, K-Swiss, it's like the same family, you know? Like
I think New Balance is a little bit
Sometime
cooler than K-Swiss.
we should break down generationally Corvette what footwear you're wearing. C4, what shoe?
Shoe game.
C5, what shoe? But that's a different pod. That's a different
Is
pod.
this something young kids talk about too? Is the Corvette gang?
I
Because
think-
Corvettes have like come around and become cool. Like when I see a slammed C5 driving, definitely the kid in the car is under 30 now.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely,
Which is
definitely,
a trip. To
definitely. Yeah. I think for speaking for the under 30 people, I think,
Yeah. For,
As the representative.
as the representative.
yeah. I think the C5 and up is where we're at for sure. Like we love most of those cars. The C6 is definitely probably the top one.
Okay.
Everyone tells me C6. I think C7 over C6, but
Okay.
for style purposes, I think C5 has the pop-ups, and you could make it like a stance car. So
Yeah.
So
I mean,
C5's cool to you.
I think the C5 is really
Hell
cool.
yeah.
I mean, the C5 is basically a thick RX-7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like an FDRX-7.
And it comes
like,
LS swapped.
so they already fixed the biggest problem.
Right. That's really interesting because, like, yeah, when I first got into cars, like, anybody with a C5 was a dork. They were like,
Yeah.
well, mine's one of one maroon with white interior combo. And it's like, oh my God, whatever.
Or they're at an
You know?
autocross bragging that they just smoked a Mini Cooper. I'm like, bro,
Right.
you have a Corvette.
Right.
Go to a real track.
And then I don't, it was like somewhat recently that they really started growing on me. Like you forget about it for a little bit and then you see one and you see somebody of your generation do one properly. And you're like, oh, wow, that can actually look really good. And then Kaiza did his rendition of one. Like, oh man.
The
all right.
red C5 that we had at Hooning was a ton of fun.
It was so much fun.
It was a $5,000 car, and out the box was a ripper.
Yeah. We
was
put
a
a hurting
ripper.
on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question. What is your favorite motorsport currently right now? And I'll put some rules on that. It has to be a currently existing motorsport. So like something that's going to play, on the weekends.
Dang.
Like what is it that like makes, or maybe you don't have one. You can also.
I mean, I do enjoy some Formula Drift. What I was
Okay.
talking about earlier, nothing bad with Formula Drift, nothing bad with any type of drifting, but
Yeah.
like I enjoy Formula Drift a lot. I think it's really, really cool just seeing the aggression, like what he's talking about earlier. F1, man, I wish the sound was there. It's not there. Like I just,
Okay.
I'd rather
Big
watch
respect on that
older
comment.
F1 videos than the new F1. Like I enjoy the competition of modern F1, but if the sound could just get better, you got a whole new generation that probably would just stick.
Now, speaking for your generation, do you feel like F1 though is like become more pop culture acceptable. Yeah.
That's what I mean by car culture as a whole. Like everyone knows about it. There's more people getting into it. I think the way everything's going with cars is reverse. If everything stayed the same to now with sound and maybe more naturally aspirated cars, then I think car culture would be even more booming than it is, I think.
What I love about that is that the generational gap between us. You did not grow up watching F1 with the V8 era, with the V10 era.
Yeah.
You were not into it at that point, right?
Yeah, I just like the sound. Like
For sure.
I didn't really watch all the stuff going on, but I just knew. I was like,
That's F1.
Yeah.
And it's even F1 to you. And I love that because like it doesn't matter that you didn't grow up in that era. You just know that's what it should be.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. We had a great moment. I brought him out to Goodwood in 2024 and we were with Williams in the paddock, Juan Pablo Montoya and the 2004 BMW Williams F1 car at 18,000 RPM. They fired it up. We could drop the clip in here. And Chaz he went crazy.
Yeah, I was geeking.
All these F1 guys are like, oh my God. It was sick. It was awesome to see your excitement around that.
For me, my first introduction to motorsports was when I went to go see I think IndyCar at Long Beach. And I remember just walking to it and hearing it. I'm like, what am I about to get into right now? Because I've never heard anything like this. What lies beyond the fence of paying the ticket and stuff like that? And then seeing how fast cars are. It's like the whole experience, like building up to seeing what is happening, which is sound is a huge part, I think, in cars for sure.
I
absolutely agree.
could not agree more. This is definitely something.
It's everything.
All the delegations are agreeing on right now.
Yeah.
Bring back the V10s.
And the man that drives the E92 M3, like the sound of it is the biggest. It's not the fastest car in the world. It's not. Well, yours is supercharged.
Yeah.
So it's quick. But like there's so many other fast cars out there, but that vibe that it gives you, like that feeling it's unmatched. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I probably don't need to ask you this, Ron, but your favorite form of motorsport?
We all know it's rally. Easily. By far.
I still have to get introduced to rally more. I want to definitely see a car fly over me besides the Tesla drive.
Once you do rally, it's really hard to go backwards. Like it's just a special sport. But I will admit right now, like I'm watching way less rally, and the sport that I'm actually watching the most of right now is Australian supercar.
V8 supercars.
Yeah, V8 supercars.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved it. And for me, when I was young, the one channel that played motorsports and racing was a channel called Speed Vision before it became Speed, which then became like a NASCAR channel. And they just would air all of the stuff from other places. So we got British touring car, we got the WRC, and we got V8 supercars.
Yeah.
And always thought it was cool, but then I got to go work with them when I did the Travis Pastrana thing. And then I ended up finding a feed for it on Racer. And I'm like, okay, this is now what I'm like. I really enjoy watching it. And even though there's only really two cars competing in it, although the Super is coming, it is like some of my favorite racing.
Yeah.
Are you watching any? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, you gotta
I'm gonna have to. I'll put you on.
Please
I'll
put
put
me
you
on.
on because it is just a really good door to door. It feels like racing from the 80s and early 90s in a modern car.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like guys are hitting each other, like just like jumping curbs. Like that is
Like
the
it's a
sport.
jump.
Like
Yeah.
that's what they treat curbs like you're supposed to
That's
jump
so
them, like a
cool.
BMX bike.
Are you familiar with like the old DTM compilations?
Yes.
It's like the modern version of that
It's
in a
as
way.
close as
It's
we
the
can
same
get to
kind of aggressive driving. Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, definitely have to look into that.
But that's the one for me that like I've just lately been like, I really like this. I got to see Bathurst, which is like one of the greatest ones. I won't go too long because you don't know what I'm talking about. But it like going there was this thing that I watched when I was younger, and then I finally got to see the place and like walk in. It's like this crazy elevation changes, and the road's so narrow. And
Yeah.
it feels really sketchy. It has like a Nürburgring kind of vibe to it, although shorter. And it just kind of made me fall back in love with it. So like that's my peak at the moment. So
Nice.
I don't know
It's
if
a
I can
solid one.
speak for the generation. I think my generation is heavily Formula One right now.
Yeah.
I think like and because they've always been, but like now it's like it's there, it's the sport, it's what everybody's talking about.
I heard they're bringing the V8s back, so I'm all for it. Like, please bring the V8s back,
Yes.
please.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree
I
on
mean,
that.
no driver seems to be happy about this.
Yeah.
Especially Max.
We want
No.
to.
Yeah,
as
not
a
at
whole, I think we want to see the racers feel good.
Yeah.
You know, like
Absolutely.
it brings the whole audience down when the drivers themselves are putting on a show and like they're not.
If
happy
you had to pick a favorite F1 driver,
I mean, Lewis Hamilton for sure.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Lewis is what got me back into F1 when he first came in.
Yeah.
And his rookie season was amazing to watch because it was so unexpected to see a rookie do so well in year one, right? And that brought me back in, and then I kind of fell out of it, like I don't know, after a couple of years, but because I was like, I got into it like Schumacher, Montoya days.
Okay,
I was like that,
I'm noticing kind of a thread here, like with drifting being your favorite like kind of driving, FD is your favorite motorsport, Lewis is your favorite driver. Like it feels like style is super important to you.
Yes.
Like style over almost everything.
Yes.
Like that's kind of a bit, because for us older guys, like cars were about the specs early on, right? Like you're reading Car and Driver, Road and Track, like you go, what's the 0 to 60 time on that? What's the quarter mile time on that? How much horsepower has this one got? Yeah. And that was everything, right? And now like those horsepower wars are kind of over. Like, you know, you get a Lucid or a Tesla that could smoke anything in a quarter mile and it doesn't matter anymore. So style is like so much of everything now. And I'm noticing that as a thread for you.
I think the photography kind of helps with the style points. Like, you know, because after you see a lot of cars and go to the Cars and Coffees and stuff like that, you want to see like why, well, like what makes this car stand out, and that's a person's personality put into a car, which is, you know, style points, you know.
So what brought you to the table today, right? When I saw you at that summit, I was like, I want to get on the pod at some point. But what brought you here today is because Ron and I were having a conversation the other day that like at some point for the two of us, Supercars / Hypercars like just became something we weren't paying attention to anymore, right? And we were going through a list and looking at, you know, different types of cars and what they're. I'm like, I don't even know what this car is. I've never even heard of this. Like, I couldn't
to it.
I couldn't name more than like 2 or 3 McLarens. Like, it just doesn't excite me anymore. And we both said that the Bugatti Veyron for us was sort of the end of the hypercar.
Oh wow!
Like, because that came out and it was like, oh wow, okay,
that's final boss.
That's final boss.
That's a W16. It's got 4 turbos. It's got 1,000 horsepower. Like anything after that, like what are you doing?
And Ron said, I bet you if you asked Chazzy, he would feel completely different.
I do, because I think the Veyron was the beginning.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, this is like BCAD. Like,
Now we're learning because we have no idea.
Yeah. So school us a little bit. Like, what are the top hypercars right now for you?
I mean, okay, it sucks right now because the new cars that are coming out, like, let's talk about the Ferrari F80, okay?
Yeah.
What is this mustache that these dudes are putting on, right? Like, what the fuck? I think it looks fine without it. I think it's a lot of, again, style. I think the P1 looked so good. Even when it first came out, when people first saw it, it was like, okay.
Yeah.
The same with the LaFerrari. Same with all the hypercars of that era, like the 918 also looked good. But now,
so what do you think is peak hypercar era?
That I think that generation, because I don't feel the excitement from people even like in high school when I was in high school. Like when I was in high school, everyone knew about the LaFerrari, the 918, like that Holy Trinity.
That's what would have been a poster on your wall.
The Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because our Holy Trinity, as you know, is the McLaren F1, the Mercedes CLK GTR,
Ferrari F40,
Ferrari
or the
F40.
Enzo,
well,
depending on your age.
Right.
Yeah.
But the okay, all right, okay. So my Trinity was McLaren F1, the Porsche GT1, and then the CLK GTR. Like that's my Holy Trinity. Those 3 cars at Le Mans, like. That's everything to me. That's my Trinity. And yours is like F40.
My Holy Trinity, it's weird because like little kid, Countach Testarossa. Like it wasn't even a Trinity. There were 2. Right.
Yeah.
And then the DeLorean until we found out it sucked. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
But like those were the 2, right? And then I think after that was like definitely the McLaren F1. I mean, that was the super special car. The F40. And like the Diablo was cool, but like it was another Lambo, so like it kind of lived in that area. And then there were those like weird ones like the Bugatti, like, you know, EB110, and like the
XJ220.
I wouldn't say that was in the Trinity, but like those were in that like early.
That's your Clout
vibe.
Yeah.
But then as a journalist, like it was the Enzo. Like, because
yeah.
that was still the thing. And then the Veyron came out, and all of a sudden it was like it put such a fucking gap on the Enzo.
Yeah.
That it
On
just,
everything.
Yeah.
It just felt like it was like a new beginning. And that's when we started to have the conversation of what's a supercar, what's a hypercar.
Yeah,
which I still don't understand.
Yeah, well, I think a hypercar changes. Well, and it's weird because as you had cars that defined your generation, you had cars that defined your generation. I feel like that holy trinity was defining my generation as a teenager, and now the next generation of teenagers are kind of going backwards. I'm not gonna lie, not like them, but the cars themselves. So we still had a V12 in the LaFerrari. Now we got a V6 in the new LaFerrari replacement, which is the F80.
Yeah.
And
That's a letdown.
you know, like it was going up until now, pretty much. And now I feel like the performance is still going up, but the emotion that we get from these engines and stuff is going kind of down. Like, you know, I don't know.
You're not a big fan of the new Ferrari EV.
I think, let's talk about that. What is happening? Like, hopefully, regulations is the only thing that was
regulations
forced for Ferrari.
and making bank. I mean, there is an audience for that thing.
Have you seen people that have gotten excited for that car? Because
I don't speak the language. Like it's so much of it is foreign buyers or people just so far out of my tax bracket that I don't understand them either. But when Porsche came out with the Cayenne, like a lot of people felt similar.
Oh yeah,
they're like,
I
yo,
was there.
how is Porsche like, yo, an SUV? That's against everything they've ever done. That's like destroying the legacy. Meanwhile, that was allowing them to make cars like the GT3 RS because they were making bank on those things and people ended up buying them. And I was one of those people. I was like, yo, that's gross. Never. I would never drive that. That belongs in a mall or like dropping kids off at soccer. And now I'm like, yo, Cayenne diesel, kind of sick.
Kind of hard.
Kind of hard.
I've actually been shopping recently Panameras because I just want like a nice, cool, fun sedan. And I remember when that thing came out, it was kind of like a weird 4-door, like, what is this? You know.
And now, but I want it on record. I'm not defending the Luce at all.
No,
I think
I gotta put it on record.
Matt Farah actually previously on the podcast had a really interesting point on the Luce, which he said when they probably started designing this, the Teslas were selling like absolute hotcakes.
Right.
And they looked at the market and they said, well, why don't we just make an expensive Tesla? And that's kind of what they did.
Yeah.
And if I wonder if the Luce came out 2.5 years ago, if it would have been accepted differently because Tesla still felt peak.
Yeah.
Now Tesla is like this really weird brand that like I think everyone hates.
Yeah,
like its own owners hate it.
Unfortunately.
For however many reasons, and it just kind of became a commuter car, right? Like when you first saw Teslas on the road, you're like, that's really special. Now it's like, bro, another one, like, and they all drive horrible.
To me, there's no difference between them and like a city bike or like a whatever the Lime scooters. Like it's literally just transportation.
Yeah, that's it. That gets you A to B. And then I think Lucid came in and like really flipped lids on a lot of people because
and Rivian
for sure.
From
Yeah,
the truck side, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
visually.
But the Lucid, like I think it's the fastest EV ever. It's like an 8-second.
Have you driven
car.
one?
No.
I haven't driven one, but a few people have told me because I always am like, I just don't like how heavy and like I just don't enjoy the weight and the mass of driving an EV, no matter how fast it is. I don't care that it can make you throw up because it's so quick. Like that's just not interesting to me. But a lot of people are like, you should drive the Lucid, whatever, Sapphire Air. I'm probably getting it wrong, but they're like that. They actually figured out how to make that thing handle.
Absolutely.
Although I like the 5N. I thought the 5N.
The Ioniq 5N was great.
But you know,
Is that the one that shifts?
Yes.
Sure.
The Ioniq 5N.
That's the only
Simulated shift.
Yeah, that's the only one people have said, oh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's so funny that's like the thing that catches on. But it also handles really well. Yeah. And Pikes Peak going on right now, like there's a 5N at Pikes Peak that's doing really well right now.
This is where we have to remind him that he holds the record for the fastest EV at Pikes Peak. And a 5N.
Still to this day.
Did you not know that?
I totally didn't know because it was EV related.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, it's like speak for the generation on EVs.
Yes, the council for the sub 30s. How do you guys feel about EVs?
I mean, it's kind of split because you got the Cybertruck lovers and the stuff like that. But I think it goes down to emotion. If a car could bring out emotion, it doesn't matter what it can do. If it'll have someone. Emotion just makes people stick.
Yeah.
So I just love sound, as you can tell, like
Yeah.
just that type of thing. So it just doesn't do anything for me
Can
personally.
can you explain the Cybertruck to me from your point of view?
Dude, I can't.
All right.
It turns out we got a lot
Apparently,
more
we
in
all
common.
have a lot in common.
We got a
here.
lot in common
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the boldness of it. You know, you can always appreciate that, but
course.
that's as far as it goes, honestly.
Yeah, it's a weird boldness, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a boldness just to be bold.
Yeah, it's like that friend that's really bold, and then you're like, I don't really like. He's not really my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys something.
Yeah,
So,
let's do it.
I mean, we got to talk about the way the economy is right now and like how everything is super, super expensive. Did it
Yeah.
feel? I feel like cars are running away from me. Like I'm trying to save up
Yeah.
money, and like
Yeah.
I see them like disappearing because they're getting so expensive. Like, did you guys feel any of that pressure when you were like 27?
Nah, you're fucking cooked, bro. Damn. I definitely didn't. I felt like there was a whole collection of cars that got cheaper by the year, right? Like you looked at a new car and you're like, you looked at something brand new and you thought, okay, in 5 years from now, that's going to cost this. And in 10 years from now, it's going to cost this. So for example, my first car was a Volkswagen Golf. I bought it in 1997. It was a 1995. The car sold new for 18 grand and I bought it for 10.
Oh wow!
Like, think of how fast that depreciation was, right? So like I was able to get into something that was only 2 years old, and I don't know, and then that you could buy a Volkswagen Golf for like $500. I mean, you still kind of can in some places, but it just felt like there wasn't this collector market around the cars I cared about. Like the collector market was 69 Camaros. And like way, way, way older things. And I guess if you put the math on it now, it seems that way. But there are cars that literally sell new, like the GR, that go up in price. Like markups on low price cars that wasn't a thing when I was younger. Like the markup thing has gone kind of crazy. So I do like you guys are definitely feeling a massive burn there.
Because I'm like trying to stack, and then you look the next month, and it's like the car you want is like doubled in price.
Pops off.
You're like, bro, dang.
I sent Vinny a post
like
today because a bunch of cars sold over the weekend, and I just it's like, what am I like? Whenever I've been paying attention, the GT3 RSs are selling for 700,000.
Yeah,
it's like,
and like I forget which Ferrari it was, but it sold for like 1.2 million, and it was like a 458 or something, and I was like,
it wasn't even anything super crazy.
and I was like, what? Like how did that?
It just goes nuts. For me, I feel you 100% because I watched it happen right before my eyes. So Fast and the Furious came out in the theaters when I was just started high school, like somewhere right around there. And I was like, bro, Mark IV Supra, I need one. And this was before YouTube. So there was a website called streetfire.net that posted just street racing stuff.
So sick.
And so there were
just
like big
moment of silence. What a great picture.
It just sounds
fantastic.
cool.
It was like 1320, but pre-YouTube, you know?
Yeah. The videos were 2 inches by 2 inches.
Yeah, everything, all the vibe that you kind of go for. Like if you looked at Street Fire, everybody had a DV camera, and that's it.
I bet
Like,
it's
that's
on.
what they
I
were
bet it's
watching.
on Wayback.
It's got to be
Machine.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, I need a Mark IV Supra. I need an FDR X7. And when I was in high school, that you could find Mark IV Supra twin turbo 6-speed for probably 30 grand.
Bro,
and
I would be like, let's go right
You
now.
know, they
Let's get
actually dropped because when we first started Hooning, every day I used to say to Hurt, I'm like, we should buy Supras now because they had got to like 15, 16 grand. And I'm like, they are so cheap.
They were crazy.
I was like, we should buy
cheap.
Supras now. And instead, he bought an FDR X7, which was a good buy because he bought it for like $5 grand. Yeah, exactly.
What?
And we were sitting there. I mean, it was a little rough, but still, he got it for. It was a complete car. And then all of a sudden, it was like boom, boom, boom. It was like, oh, it's a 20,000, it's a 30, it's a 50, it's a 60. Like, oh,
and
there's one selling for 100
every
grand.
raise I ever got, every whatever, like the Mark IV was just a boom, boom, just out of reach. And then, by the end of it, like once I could, I'd had other interests, but like that feeling of like, I just can't, I'm right there, but I just can't catch it. Like it's brutal, man. It's brutal. And now watching what all cars are doing, it's crazy. Like I got a JZX90 when like I started getting into drifting really heavy and watching all the stuff in Japan, and they were all running JZXs, beater cars, whatever.
They still do that to this day.
And so the first year that I was able to bring one in, I brought it in. I got a Mark II Tourer V with 40,000 miles on it for 14 grand.
Bro.
Twin turbo, immaculate car. And like I sold it not long after that for 28. I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah. I have to like, I don't know, find homies that would just, could you give it to me at the
Right.
early 2000s price?
Yeah.
Well, like I
The
wonder.
time machine price.
Yeah.
It's funny because just a few weeks ago, I went to go look to see what the pricing was around like muscle cars, and like they've settled a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're not like
They haven't tanked.
they haven't tanked. So it's like it's kind of unfortunate because I think to the point you make of like modern day supercars aren't that exciting anymore. A lot of modern day cars are just not like filling the interest. So a lot of people are buying older, and it's blowing up. Like the gap has gotten a lot smaller. Like it used to be cars that were 25 to 30 years old were going back up in value. Now it's like cars that are anything made before 2010 is where the value is. And because while supercars may have stayed cool through to 2020, let's be honest, like most regular cars kind of fell off after 2010. And everyone, I think, started to realize that these are all going away. We're going to hoard them all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But also, I think you get to a point where, like, everything up until now, this kind of goes into your point of there's nothing being made new now that's like raw and manual and exciting. In the past, it was like E36 M3. Again, I'll use the same example. Every car kind of hits the bottom of that depreciation curve where it starts to become accessible to kids that have no money and a ton of style, right? And they buy that car, they make it really sick, and then everybody's like, oh, wait, those are cool. I'm going to jump in on that. And then it shoots up again. And then you see that happen generationally. I'm seeing that happen to the E92 M3.
Yes.
Used to be able to, I know you're right. Hold on.
I'm letting you cook, bro. Keep going.
What is that next one? Like, is the F80 or the G80 M3 ever going to be that cheap? And even if it is, or like, what do you turn it into? Or are they going to be expensive forever? I don't know. That's the tough part for your generation. Like,
do you know what we are experiencing right now? Automotive gentrification. Cool kids are making shitty cars cool again, and then uncool kids run the prices up. Yeah, it's fucking Brooklyn all over, guys.
Maybe, but I mean, that's a tale as old as time. You know, like that's been going on forever. But I think that supply has dried out. To me, like, sure, the GR86, the GR Corolla, the Supra. Wow, all Toyota products. When in our generation, Toyota made nothing cool.
Oh, what?
Yo.
Nah, Toyota had a drought.
This is a
for
tangent,
like 10 years.
When I got in the car world and I was in magazines, Toyota had nothing cool. They had no performance cars. They had the MRS, not a performance car.
And I have to say it because I can feel Nick staring.
The Celica.
The Celica GTS,
yeah, I know.
aka the Celica.
Yeah.
I think it was only cool in Europe.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break and we'll come back.
All right.
Okay.
By now, you might have realized I really enjoy European things. I mean, my cars are European. My tools are European. I mean, my producer, he's British, which I think is still European.
That was rude, but go on.
Did I tell you what I did this weekend?
What did you do?
So I decided that I'm going to actually park the Vanagon for a little bit and get back to driving the RS2. Like literally knock the dust off of it. And to do that, I figured I'd do a little preventive maintenance.
It's not something I think of when I think of you, dude.
Yeah, you see, the problem is that car gets a lot of things right, but there's this one issue where the strut bearings just constantly fail, especially if the car is like slammed on its nuts like mine is. So I ordered a set of strut bearings from FCP Euro, got them, and was going to swap them out. And I stripped this really annoying nut. Like, seriously, curse the German engineer who designed this. It's like a weird half castle nut. It requires this weird specialty tool. And if you put too much force on it, it gives up. So anyway, I stripped that, and now my car was on a jack stand. And honestly, I was about to just leave it there, like I've left many other projects to die. But it's the RS2. So headed in, went to fcpeuro.com, found the part. Because they had it in Arizona, they were able to overnight it to me. Boom, I had it the next day at my farm. Got the car back on the road. It was awesome. FCP Euro most likely has the parts you need and can get them to you pronto, you know, so you can keep driving the cool cars. That's what matters. All right, so let's bring up a touchy subject now that we've had some snacks. So I know early on you shot a lot of takeover stuff, or some of it. Like where's your opinion on that then, now, all that? Because
Man,
Yeah.
takeovers, man. I'm sorry, but right now, from pretty okay, takeovers didn't even get popular until after COVID.
Yeah.
Like, before, like I said, it was just car meets and people would do burnouts at the end. But since the streets were so empty during COVID and there was nothing else to do, everyone would come out like and just drive on, and then like cops wouldn't come for 2 hours. I remember being out there, and so it felt for the first couple of years during COVID. I'm not gonna lie, the definition of a takeover was that a little different. I mean, in the Bay Area, they call them sideshows.
Yep.
But I mean, people were
I went to a
hanging out
sideshow
there.
in 2006. So
Oh wow, yeah. If it was kind of like that vibe. I hope it was more like a
it was
party vibe.
It was
than
very much like a party, and it was like industrial areas.
Yeah.
And nobody was stepping in front of cars. It like wasn't a thing. Like it was just
there was like a respect still.
was-
Like now it's just complete disrespect
Yeah.
to everybody and everything. And I don't stand for that. And I started realizing that after COVID. It's funny because I have a story of the last time I took photos at a takeover, which was in 2022. And I parked my car next to a fire hydrant. And this is when the task forces started coming out and stuff. And my car wasn't blocked in, but I was right next to them. So all my friends ran into the store and we just waited it out. And then we came back outside, and of course, like my car started and the cops were like, "Hey!" And then one of the cops actually pointed a gun at me, believe it or not.
Whoa.
And he was like, "Get out of the car." And luckily he saw my photos and he knew who I was.
Oh,
And it
interesting.
was
No
like,
way.
Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, I've seen your work. Like, it's very nice." Cause he pulled me out and like they were arresting everybody that they
Oh,
walked
so he
in.
pulled a gun and then complimented you after.
Yeah, he pulled it. He was like, "Get out of the car, put the keys, whatever."
Yeah.
And then he told me, "I'm gonna let you go this time because I really like your work. And if I ever catch you out here, I'm gonna arrest you like those guys over there."
Wow.
And then after that, I was like, "Yeah, it's not even worth it, bro. Like, if a cop is telling me that and not arresting me and all that, and I should probably focus on better things than this." And then I did, and then overall, like takeovers just started getting worse and worse. And I'm glad I exited that realm because it's just gotten really bad. Like, I don't defend takeovers for sure. Like right now at all. Like, it's pretty sad, honestly.
No, and like as a once journalist, like, and that's why I went to a sideshow, because it was like I want to tell a story of the culture, like how it was, and it felt very different then.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the like in my generation when we did what we did, we did it safe.
But it's true.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I got involved in around street racing in like the late 90s, and Fast and Furious ruined street racing. Because street racing used to be like really organized in New York, and there was a bunch of like old heads, like old Italian mobster dudes who would fuck you up if you tried to act fucking dumb, right? Like there was just a code of the streets going out racing. And then all of a sudden Fast and Furious came out, and everybody thought that it was gonna look like that. So
wow.
like, a lot more people started to show up, and like people were just like wilding for no reason.
That's
and, like,
kind of, it's funny. Like, I guess that's like the social media. I feel like social media ruined.
yeah.
I don't even like saying takeovers anymore. It sucks so bad. But
Yeah.
I'll just say sideshows. It sounds a little better. But I think social media definitely ruined that culture of at least drifting. It was like, it was my experience of drifting, because obviously in Japan, when they go out into the streets, they are very respectful. It's just Japanese culture in general. But here, it's just no.
Well, and I'm sure at
It's
a
a touchy
certain
subject.
point, like I don't think I've ever been to a sideshow or a takeover or any of that. But I get the feeling of like when you were going there originally, it was about like who could put on the best show, right? And then at a certain point, it's like who can get the best clout.
Yeah.
Like you get
Yep.
clout chasers that are
Yep.
like, I need to see someone get flipped upside down. I need to see a car on fire. And it just like that one-upman shit every time just ruins things. Yeah.
I'm going to ask the oldest man question that's going to get asked tonight.
All right.
All right, so I need to understand. I guess the part for me, like I get, like I understand the attraction of the sideshow takeover. Like I understand, like it's lawless, it feels wild. Like I did shit like that growing up as a kid. Not that particularly, because honestly, we didn't really understand that cars drifted back then.
Yeah.
But like but like I was in, like I remember, like I could understand the excitement. I remember going to punk shows that were like outlaw shows or outlaw raves or things like that, and it just was like this mass energy, right?
It was the same thing, the energy, you know.
Yeah, and like you it feels so cool, and you like there's this like, oh man, we're about to get caught. Like I know and I understand that excitement. I think when things started to get to the point where it's like I don't get this was when people were like purposely trying to like step out in front of cars, and like this, I realized that this may be the old man side of me, but I'm like, I just do not understand that. Do you understand it?
Okay, so that obviously that didn't really even start happening until I left that scene.
Right.
So I remember I've only seen one person get smacked. That's what we call it. Get back.
I feel
get
like
smacked.
now that's like the thing, or maybe that's just what makes it to social. Because like my entire understanding of takeovers now is literally just seeing it on social.
That's pretty much it.
Or
Yeah.
seeing the aftermath in my neighborhood, right? Like that's it, or hearing it at night. But it just seems like that's just crazy to me. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't relate to any of that. Like, I would never want to even want to get smacked in the first place.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
When I was going, it was literally a circle, and like the cars would get close to you, but obviously, if you know how to slide a car, you can kind of get close. But I mean, towards the end, when that clout started like seeping into that community, there were definitely people like trying to get close, trying to get the angle and all this stuff, and it would be like the worst video ever. But then I remember when I did see this dude get smacked, he got up and he was cheering. He was like, yes, I got smacked.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
That's
and then a month later I had a gun on my head,
crazy.
so I was like, I need to get the frick out of
You
here.
know, I feel like the internet, well, social media, not just the internet, but social media kind of supercharges the timeline of all this stuff. Same exact thing happened with builds, right? Like to us, 500 horsepower was a lot back in the day, right? And now we're in a time where if you're not making 1,200, like what are you even doing?
I love that
Like,
3 months ago it was 1,000. Like it's already inflation is just
'cause,
already hitting
you have
horsepower.
GTRs, and then you have like Nelson Racing engines doing 2,000 plus horsepower. Like it's gotten nuts, right? And with takeovers, I'm sure it was the same thing. Like at first, it feels cool. Like, oh damn, okay, there's an empty intersection. Let's get a couple cars, go around.
It wasn't even like I think the intersection part of takeovers started happening, and that was when it got bad. Like, because
Agreed, because it used to be industrial.
Yeah, and the cops used to pull up, and they would know.
I mean that one spot in Compton.
Yeah,
For the one that was next to 686.
yeah.
Right?
Most people, I think,
Like
in that
that's
scene
like
was
the
fun.
famous spot.
Yeah,
and it had
yeah,
been going forever.
Yeah, and the cop, everyone knows, even the cops know.
Yeah.
and we're out of harm's way.
And there's no one there at night.
Yeah,
like you're
it's
not impeding
warehouses.
You're not
and
impeding
like,
ambulances or
Yeah.
buses. But then it became more of like a weird, like I think the excitement was not the activity. The excitement was like we're taking over.
Yeah.
I think that's the word.
Yeah,
Takeover.
it
Like,
sucks.
we're
Yeah.
fucking up the city.
That's
We're-
why I like sideshows way better, because I feel like sideshows was before takeovers. Now I
No,
don't
for
call
sure.
them
I mean,
takeovers. So
sideshows are
Yeah,
part of the
absolutely.
bay
Yeah.
from back in the 80s. 90s.
it was like the punk shows you were talking about, but with cars. But
Yeah.
now it's not like that at all. Like I don't even want to talk about it.
No, for sure, but it is
but
it is
it's
like
important.
it
It's
is a really important thing, because at first it was annoying. It was whatever. Like we were just old man yelling at a cloud.
And realize we were running Hooning at the time, and we're doing Burnyard, which has a lot of similar activities.
For
on
all
it.
intents
I mean, a
and
lot better
purposes, like-
drivers, but like
Yeah.
in all intents, right? Like felt similar.
Yeah.
But we were also the ones sitting there being like, "You need to keep this shit the fuck off the streets, because like this is bad for all of us. Like this doesn't work out."
But like we were talking about, before the pod, like people watch that and they see the energy, they see the excitement, they see the style, they want to do that. Nobody has a private yard that they could, most people don't have a private yard that they can do this stuff in. So they just want to do it wherever. And then you have like Challengers and Charger Hellcats, like you have access to this stuff, and it gets out of hand. But what really sucked for us was when you have police out there that see any car that's modded and they're like, take over.
Yeah.
Take over. It doesn't matter if it's Scotto's 360. It doesn't matter if it's my Lancia, if it's got an exhaust, if it's loud. They're like, you're part of that crew now.
my
And
Rabbit,
that
I'm like,
sucks.
this ain't taking over shit, bro.
Yeah, and like that is brutal for car community in general.
Yeah, I think we all, as a car community, because I mean, who's a car enthusiast at Takeover these days.
I guess that was what I was going to ask was, do you feel like there's any car enthusiasts left there? Like it's a different type of enthusiast.
Yeah, I don't even think I think they just see what cars could do it, which is like the G35s and all that, right? Because you don't see
That's
like,
going to be the rarest car in 10 years. They're going to be
Yo,
none
it
left.
is.
They've all been destroyed at takeovers or
Yeah.
impounded. I watched one get like eaten by the machine the other day. I don't even know where it was, but they were like, we impounded your car, and then like it turns it into like just pieces of scrap metal. I'm like,
Wow.
so many G35s are going to go that
I'm
way.
going to set a reminder for myself in like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
What's the price of G35 coupe?
Yeah,
like a
it's
clean
like-
one now.
Yeah, you're like, this is one of 7 left in silver. You're like, what? What's the most popular color?
Well, they're all gone.
Yeah. This one has the Brembo brake package. It's selling for $300,000.
like, bro, I remember when they were $2,000.
At Mecum.
Yeah, no, it's to rewind back, like thinking about the kids getting smacked. It's like it kind of reminds me of in action sports. There were those kids who would just huck themselves, like they weren't actually good at the sport, but they would just send it, and I'd be like, "Yo, you literally just came here to break yourself today. You have no idea what you're doing." I guess there's always going to be that, like in every space in every sport. It's just that's the part that like it literally freaks me out, and it's also like some of these takeovers I've seen, and I'm sure we've all seen this. Like, dude gets hit, Glock falls out with like an extended 30 clip.
Yeah. And that's
And then you're like, what? Like, this is insane.
well, and that's why you can't be surprised that like a cop came up, like gun out because they have no idea. Like anybody in any of those cars could be strapped as well. And like for them, that's a scary thing to go into,
Yeah, and I was young, I was only 21, 22 back then, and so
And we're not judging you on it because at that age, I could, especially as a photographer,
Oh, for sure.
I 100% see the attraction to go and capture that.
the photos, I wish I could post them today and show everybody, but like I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But the photos I would get,
Save that for a book one day, though.
I was gonna
Because
say,
in 10, 15 years from now, hopefully when takeovers are well behind us,
Yeah.
it seems like they're doing a good
there's
job.
an interesting moment of like before it turned into what it became.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll hold on to them for now.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
one day you guys will check it out.
do you
That'd
think,
be cool. I would buy that.
So I want to kind of go back to like, do you feel like the younger generation feels the same way we do about takeovers, where we're like, this is really fucking bad and this is like gonna ruin it for everybody? Or
I
is
feel
there a
like you
mix?
do have to educate the new car enthusiasts before they go to a takeover. Like, because, I mean, it's rare that some sick cars go out there, but there still are some good, crazy cars that go out and like, whether they're stolen or not,
Yeah.
But I think, everyone should be educated. Like, yo, it sucks that we have no more tracks in the city, but that's also what I'm trying to do. I recently got a drift car, a 350Z LS swap. Shout out Autolink, shout out Street Arrow. And I want to try to find, I mean, there's no tracks left in the city.
Yeah, no.
So we need to bring kind of like that Hooning culture vibe back, like, in order to maybe educate more people on like burnout etiquette, honestly. Like,
I mean, look, I thought Burnyard was great when we were doing it, and it was once a month, which was great because it gave the time for that. There were a couple like sort of sideshow kids that did come out for it. A lot of obviously drift kids came out for it and kind of did all that. But we were like working with sheriff's department and all of that stuff because we saw the value of like
Giving people a place to do it.
and the sheriff's department, and I say this a lot, it's like a lot of guys in the sheriff's department, they're car guys.
Yeah.
And it's like they enjoy it too, right? But obviously they'll tell you, they're like, you don't understand, like we're getting pressure because of these takeovers and people are upset about them and annoyed and all these issues and all these videos show up and they're getting sent to the precinct such and such and such. They're like, and we have to do something about it. But unfortunately, it's like a powder keg at a takeover. Like if we roll into a takeover and try to shut it down, there's a really good chance people are going to get hurt because people are going to try to leave and crash into each other.
And it just gets chaos.
And it's
Yeah,
chaos.
it's true.
And he's like, we would also need so many cops to do that.
Yeah.
So it has to be like a task force type thing to go do it. He's like, so instead, like tickets have to get written.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like everyone leaving a Cars and Coffee now gets a ticket.
Yeah.
So at the end of the month, they can say, what were you doing about takeovers? Oh, well, we ticketed, 1,000 illegally modified cars.
It doesn't really relate.
And the people who
Yeah.
don't understand the culture go, oh, okay, good. Those people. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, but the 1,000 people who got ticketed was like Jay Leno leaving Malibu.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
Like,
so like I think I have to kind of. It's still the same subject, but I'm going to deviate a little bit.
Yeah.
Ron asked me about Alex Choi,
Yep.
and if you guys don't know me, I used to shoot for Alex Choi. I'm still very cool with him, but I used to do all the videos with him. I've seen the Tesla jump live. I literally filmed that.
That's wild.
And a whole bunch of other things that I'm probably not going to say right now. But
yeah.
as you guys know, Alex is working with CHP now for the
I
greater
don't-
good.
I don't
for the greater
fully
good.
know. I actually.
That took me by surprise. I had no idea.
I don't know that. I know that he's built this vehicle, this 911.
Yeah.
It kind of. What was that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal where he's like Nightcrawler, where he goes and shows up to the crime scenes. And that almost sounds like what Alex Choi has been doing recently. Right?
It's funny, yeah. He's told me he's been educating the highway patrol and cops in general, like what is an enthusiast car versus a car that you would probably see at a
interesting.
takeover. So I think if there's anyone that could probably make a positive impact, it's probably Alex Choi for now.
Wow.
Like because he's just the closest with CHP and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's trying to help the community out. I think up north, Sacramento, I believe they have a legal skid pad.
Yep.
That you know, like
Yeah.
I
It's
think
just
showing
coming
up
together.
somewhere.
I think we really need one like bad, just one spot where everyone could just go to rip some tires and make that kind
Absolutely.
of like the car party spot. And I think when cops pull over like people and enthusiasts, like they're like, why are you speeding? Why this? Like obviously it's not okay, but you have to go so far to a track, at least in SoCal, to let it out, you know?
Do you know anything about the history of Brotherhood Terminal Island Raceway? Do you know about that?
Nope.
So I don't actually remember exactly. I think it was like 80s, 90s was when I think it started. There was a group called the Brotherhood of Street Racers,
Oh, I've heard of that.
and they worked with the city, Long Beach, to basically take an abandoned piece of property down in Terminal Island and build it into a drag strip. And it was after I think Lions closed. And it's really interesting. There's actually an amazing podcast out there about the Brotherhood. We'll leave it in the show notes. But what was really interesting about it was that crime's super high. It's like 90s, early 2000s in LA, especially in the Long Beach, Compton area. And they start doing these events and they start to notice that on the nights that they do these events, they're doing them on Friday and Saturday, these like open kind of drag race events, that they're watching a major drop in crime during those nights because it was giving people something to do.
Yep.
And it lasted for a really long time. And there's a lot of stories behind the whole thing. But when we were at Hooning, we tried to see if we could revive that and try to, because we were in Long Beach and trying to make that work. And we actually had a bunch of good conversations. The problem is the land wasn't there anymore. But it's not an easy thing because you got to get a lot of people involved. And it's not if the police could do it tomorrow, they would. But it's everybody else. And there's also all the NIMBYs who are like, I don't want I don't want it in my backyard.
Yeah.
And that's why a place like Terminal Island worked, because it was a shipping
Nobody's
corridor.
backyard.
There's no one there. So I mean, I think that there is a real conversation to be had, and that's what we tried to do with Irwindale, and that's why we made the ticket $10 to get in, because we wanted it to be easy barrier of entry for people, and that was the whole idea, was to give people a place to kind of come and do that before it all goes away. And unfortunately, we lost Irwindale.
sucks, man.
That's
all
brutal.
all these
Loss
things
of
have
Irwindale
changed.
is brutal.
Yeah.
But you've pivoted a bit from doing pure media to you throw meets now.
Yes, I love throwing car meets. I just love car culture in general. And
For sure.
I feel like throwing meets fulfills my heart, and seeing people enjoy cars.
But I've seen, and I don't know if this is because I'm just going by the content I've seen on your page. I've seen you doing a meet at a warehouse, and people throw cars inside of a warehouse, and it looks wild.
Yeah,
like it's kind of a sick venue. Like it's a cool setup. Like, I mean, that's a possibility, But like, how do you, like, you're holding the meet. You now understand the risk of, like, if that turns into a takeover, like you're marked.
Yeah.
Like that's it. So how do you police that now?
If I'm working with a shop, I tell them to let their police department know, because I'm on the same page as everybody. Like, if I'm giving you a space to enjoy car culture and stuff, you got to enjoy it in that space. Don't ruin it for the people outside, you know? I want people to just come enjoy the sounds and sights of car culture without having to worry about looking over the shoulder for a cop and stuff like that. So I want people to enjoy it, but like I want cops to make sure everything else is safe as well. So I will gladly tell the police, like, we're going to do this here. If you can let us do that, that would be mean the world. And anyone who doesn't listen to that, like, you can pop them if you need to. Because, we're all just here just to enjoy cars, you know?
We used to have a huge sign up at 621 Golden that said, "Don't fuck it up for the rest of us."
Yeah.
Yep.
It only takes one person.
Yeah, and then it chain reacts from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I usually handpick most of the cars that go into the warehouse or the show, including
interesting.
like drivers. Like,
So
let's
it's,
say
like,
we're able to
curated
drift.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. Like I won't let like I need to see proof that you know what you're doing if you're trying to go and drive and I just got to see you really know what you're doing.
Huh.
How many meets are you doing? Like, are you doing like one a month? Like, what's it?
I'm working towards one a month. Right now, I'm doing one like every couple months just because I'm working on getting a team. This has nothing to do with like cars on the pod right now, but you were talking at a convention, and I know that you need a team to succeed in like social media and like a lot of things. And this is one of those things where I need a team of people to help me curate and make this
Make your
go
vision
bigger.
happen.
Yeah, 'cause I could at least do it more often, you know.
For sure. Yeah, I think what we're getting to is the brotherhood of Chazzy. You make a new skid pad. We find a spot, and that's it. You make it happen.
Maybe one day.
The city needs it. And look, I mean, after the pod, I'll connect you with people I've already been having the conversation with, because they keep coming to me and I'm like, bro, I'm 46. Like, no one, like, the people who care about me ain't doing that anymore. But I am a big, we had this saying in the early days of Hooning, which is something we stole from skateboarding, which is like, Hooning is not a crime. Obviously, a lot of Hooning is a crime. Right?
Hooning on the street.
Right.
Yeah.
But the concept of it and the concept of skateboarding is not a crime. Is like, inherently, the activity is not criminal. It's not murder. It's not assaulting someone. Like, the activity, it's where you do it. But unfortunately, the whole thing ends up getting criminalized.
Yeah.
Right. So at a certain point, and like, that's how, a lot of things started to feel, where it was like, whether you were like, I don't street race, but I'm still labeled as that because I have a car that looks that way, right? Or I don't, I drive a drift car, but everyone thinks I'm doing street drift or whatever. And it's like, there's like elements of like gaining this back where like enthusiasts don't feel like criminals. And like right now, I think in LA, like, it feels pretty criminal right now.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
I even like drive cars of mine that like aren't that wild, like my RS2, and
You're looking
I'll
over
be
your
in front
shoulder.
of CHP, like CHP will be behind me, and I'm like, is today the day?
Yeah.
up to them.
That's a crazy thing. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing no harm to anybody around you, but like you feel like, am I gonna get pulled over right
Yeah.
now?
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
run through
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
on this
Yeah.
car. I'm gonna deal with
Yep.
all this stuff,
Yep.
and it's like, I'm just driving.
Yeah.
I mean, driving the E92 M3, I mean, it's got some type of
Yours is a
exhaust,
target.
you know?
It's a
So-
target.
So I mean, that's where the valves come in, But
Oh, true, yeah.
like when I've gotten pulled over like twice, and
We all
On
have
the
it.
way here today.
and the cop was like, he was nice. He was like, nice car. Your car's just a little loud. And I was like, oh, sorry about that, officer. Just be nice. And then, some officers now are starting to know the difference. I don't know if Alex Troy has
Troy's
his part in
doing
it,
the
but
thing, yeah.
but hopefully he's doing his part with it. But I hope more cops, especially highway patrol, like just realize like we just like cars because
We're not all that.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I have to get Alex on the show to talk to him about that. That's actually like quite interesting.
You should. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never actually met him. I know he did stuff with us, but I just wasn't there on the day. So, although that Tesla thing annoys me because that's the kind of thing that makes it hard for me to do my job. Because
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
go to
yeah.
cities and they're like, "Oh, you're not going to have copycats?"
Yeah.
Exhibit A.
San Francisco, 2012, and now
Yeah.
we're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
At your meets now, like, what's the kind of person that's shown up? Because like, I'm not gonna lie, like a nighttime meet for me, I'm like, I don't know, like how late am I gonna be out? I got stuff to do tomorrow. My car's not like cool enough for that crowd? Like,
You
tell
don't
me
have
about
underglow.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all that stuff soon,
When
too.
you're older, you get super into motorsport for the most part. What's the crowd showing up? Like, what type of cars? What type of people at your meets?
It's all types of cars.
All over?
Yeah, all over. You got low riders, you got old schools.
Oh,
you
really?
got new schools, you got the occasional hypercar sometimes, like if that guy has time.
I would have thought it was like really hypercar heavy, but it's not.
It's everything, man. Anything that just like the last meet I had a 4-rotor RX-7 pull up, and just spitting flames for everybody, and
That's cool.
Like that was the star of the show.
Wow.
And then other times, like I'll invite like my homie Devin, who has like Pagani's Honda. I'll be like, yo, let's bring that to a meet, you know. But yeah, everyone pulls up. Very respectful, all ages. You got people like you guys, and then you got people that are you got like kids that are
Y'all
like
dudes.
7, 8 years old,
That's
and
cool.
they all like just love it. Like, you know, kids have phones these days, they're recording, trying to vlog. Like, you know, the car culture is definitely at its peak as popularity goes. And yeah, I hope it keeps growing.
You know, you said before, and I actually thought this was really funny because I think about it now, and I've never thought about this before, but like in your era, so like from when you first get your car until you're about 30, like you're hyper into like the flashiness of cars, right? Like they shoot fire, like they do this, they make cool noises,
Deep dish chromes,
the colors, like the chrome, the underglow, all of that. Like I was into all of that.
Yeah.
And then in your 30s, you think you're gonna be a race car driver, and you get hyper into motorsports. And then in your 40s, you just start collecting rare parts. Like all the hype is gone, and you're just like, hey, you see this intake manifold? This is one of 6. Like these become the things you care about later. Like, because I think that's like the weird pace.
Dude.
Not that I still don't enjoy a bit of flash and still have weird aspirations to go race cars, but like the things they shift.
It's amazing. Or Brian Henderson, you know, BBS KW. He just posted a story the other day with a new speed steering wheel. And he's like, if anybody has a matching shift knob, this dude has had like Ferrari FF and RS6 and whatever. No, he's building like an old Volkswagen for the vibes, you know, and searching for that
building
one
it for my car
shift
show.
knob. Is he really?
Because he hasn't got accepted
That's
yet.
amazing. But I'm like, this dude could have any car. This dude could build anything.
Yeah.
And he's looking for one shift knob that was made in the 90s. That's like black and red leather. You know, like you just get to that point. Yeah,
Super nostalgia stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
Do you even know the brand New Speed by any chance?
I literally don't. I don't know.
New Speed was like really hype in late 90s, early 2000s in like mostly Volkswagen, but they also did Honda parts and stuff like that. Yeah, but they were like just this, I don't know.
I got one real quick. What's your of Scotto's car collection? What's the coolest one to you?
Oh man, I mean the RWB is a piece of history. First in the U.S., one of the first in the U.S. at least, and honestly, that car just looks so cool. Like
So much
Appreciate
presence.
that. Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
yeah, I mean the Ferrari's cool too.
Yeah, it's whatever. It doesn't. The Ferrari for me doesn't have as much history.
I
It's
bring
kinda
this
whatever.
up because when we were starting the pod, Scotto had me pull out the RWB because you weren't here, and Chaz was like shooting it, but then he puts his phone down. The car was still running. I was still doing the thing. And he's like, "Yo, this thing's so dusty." He's like, "Does Scotto does he just not drive it? Like, what's wrong with it?" I was like, "Nothing's wrong with it." I'm like, Scotto has the 360. He's got the RWB. He's got the RS2. You know what he drives all the time? Either the Golf, the Rabbit, or the diesel van, or like whatever, the Vanagon. And I'm just like, that's
I
Brian.
drive the
That's
RS2
Brian.
as well, but yeah,
you do
yeah,
sometimes, But his mind was blown.
Yeah,
at
I was
how
like,
much
bro, I could
dust
literally
was
have
on.
a layer of dust on my finger just from one touch.
Oh no, it's really bad. It's really bad at the moment. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna wash it today, and then I didn't. But,
To be fair, it is super dusty in this part of Long Beach.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
like,
because we got the chemtrails.
Yeah. Raining down every day. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break again. Heatwave just created my favorite sunglasses of all time, the Easy Rider Photochromic. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I've learned to really value what yellow lenses can do for your vision when you're driving at night in your 40s. And look, I get it. Yellow lenses, they can be a little dorky unless you're cosplaying as the operator from Sicario. But with these, they actually transition to look like regular shades in the sunlight, letting you stealthily blend right in. So anyway, thanks Heatwave for making these for me. I guess they actually made them for everybody. Go find yours at heatwavevisual.com. Face it, there's only 3 kinds of us. Those that torque nothing, those that torque everything, and there's those that use torque wrenches as breaker bars. Wera's new tool has 2 out of 3 covered. Their new torque lock feature is a switch that disengages the mechanism on their torque wrenches so you can kind of use it as it was intended, as a breaker bar. Okay, I don't exactly belong to the third camp, but I've dabbled. I've committed the ultimate no-no, cracked a lug free with a torque wrench, but I swear that life is behind me now that I've got a torque lock torque wrench from Wera. Go get yourself one. WeraTools.com. If you haven't noticed, Quiet Wealth is in, Flash is out. And the folks at KW understand. They now offer the classic line. Think the KW suspension you've learned to love and trust, but now in all black. The perfect subtle flex. Plus, if you're trying to fly under the radar with, say, your future in-laws, you could pass these off as OEM. Because after all, you are an adult, right? Anyway, find them and plenty other applications at kwsuspensions.com. So, Ron, what's your favorite car of my collection?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Wasn't expecting that. I have to say it's the RWB, but for reasons other than it being an RWB. Like, I think the package that you got, like the X50 is what it was.
Mine's the NDL dealership package.
X50 was on the 996 Turbo. You had the NDL, like, that's really cool and that's rare. And that car is that like Widowmaker era where that thing killed so many dentists and doctors.
I almost killed Ron in that car.
He did. We spun on Queens Boulevard, fully backwards, arriving at a stoplight.
Well over 350.
Because he was like, "Yo," he just got these CCW wheels on it, and they came from a buddy of ours. His dad did a ton of track days, and it had these like old track tires that were blue, like crusty, whatever. But you had to put the wheels on.
Had to put the wheels on, and I had no idea what it took
and this
to
was,
heat up track
this
tires.
Was this was pre RWB. This is before it had the fenders, anything. It was crispy car.
Okay.
And he's like, "Yo, you need to ride in this thing. Like this thing pulls." And I was like, "All right, cool." So we go on Queens Boulevard, first gear, second gear, wow, turbo noises, everything. And it's like, "Oh shit, red light." And then hits the brakes. Whoop, dude, it happened so fast. The spin happened so fast. We had no idea. And like, bro, it was
a movie at the end.
There was this chick at the red light, and we're like backwards, and I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, and Scotto
perfectly next to her,
like
backwards,
backwards
at the light,
and Scotto, like, he had just barely owned the car, and it stalled, and he's like trying to turn it on, but
he's
the key's
on the wrong
over
side.
here, and like and then we drive away, and it's like the whole ride back was like just flat spotted all the tires. I'm like, bro, you almost lost this thing. You just got it, and you almost lost this.
It's
car.
literally, I think, the only time I've ever driven home with the radio off with a friend in the car.
Oh wow,
it was silent. It was silent. Yeah, but still, that's my favorite car. Like, it's so raw. Like, you really need to know what you're doing. You need to respect the car. Like, you get in a car these days, like, I haven't driven an F80, but, I'm sure you get behind the wheel, and it's like, all the nannies are on. You could be an idiot. You could not know what you're doing. That thing, you have to respect that car.
Even under braking, apparently.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on cold race tires. But What do you think, and you have to speak for the entire generation right now.
All right.
I feel like your entire generation hates RWB right now.
What?
Yeah, am I wrong there?
I
think like it felt like it got oversaturated, and then there was like the whole Nakai gluing on the thing, and then like internet just exploded. But maybe that's actually my generation.
So,
I'm not really sure. Or maybe it's your
I
generation.
disagree. I think it's the millennials that are.
So it's your generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anti RWB because for whatever reason, like, it got super hyped.
I think we look at like the RWBs as like works of art on.
So it's still cool to you.
Yeah.
So the
The
gap,
style thing.
The gap is
it's
on
the style thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how you get there. It matters the presence and the style that you have.
Yeah. I don't think like you could still rice out a car, but I don't know if rice applies as hard as it used to. Like, if it was up to me, I would put if I can. For a C5, for example, bro, I would put like spinners on it, chrome wheels, like make sure it's lower, like halfway pop-up headlights, like, you know what I mean? Bring some, like, I would put like crazy paint on it too, like if I could just do that, I love
Man.
underglow as well. Like, I'm glad underglow is kind of making a comeback. I hope spinners do as well. Like, someone should start doing that. Like,
I went to Hurt a long time ago now. It's like 6 or 7 years ago. I was like, we should start like a drift wheel spinner company.
yeah,
I'm like, this would kill. Like,
I would
because
be
really,
down.
it's like I worked in hip hop car culture. That was what I did before this. I worked at a magazine called Rides, which was like the competitor for like Dub back in the day. And it's like I was there when like the Spreewells first dropped, and like that was and, like. Even if you thought they were dumb, there was still something kind of
There was technology, but there were floaters, sploders,
sploders,
spinners. Yeah.
And like you could think they were dumb until the first time somebody rolled up on you and either was floating at 60 miles an hour next to you or was spinning stopped like
so cool.
Like on like in Miami on like what was that, like Collins or whatever, like car would roll up and just the wheels are still spinning and you're like, all right, that's pretty
cool.
Yeah, like I never got to. I don't think I've only seen like one car have spinners like my whole life.
Wow,
like, I swear.
what?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like
crazy.
Yeah, I really want.
Wow.
I'm speaking for my generation now. I think spinners need to come back for
Hell
sure,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
just make them cool.
I'm
like,
not against that.
I would love to bring spinners back.
Imagine drifting with a floater. So you're going through a corner, tire smoke, but the face stays.
Yeah, I think
right
this just
there.
adds just another factor to the car.
I mean,
scene.
some guys have done it. I've seen a few, but like no one's jumped into it.
Yeah.
When Wheel Pros had bought Hooning again, I was trying to convince them like dub wheels should come back.
Oh yeah,
in 17s and 18s and 19s in spinners, but the designs, like just steal the designs from Motegi. Like literally just take like Japanese style designs but make them spin.
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you
great.
pull up to a car meet, any car meet these days, and you got spinners on, you're for sure like gonna be
And
one of the
all
top.
the
top.
attention.
What do you
Yeah,
see? What are
for
you
sure.
seeing spinners on right now?
Like not like
He's not
necessarily
seeing them.
He's not seeing them at all.
Yeah, I mean, like I
No,
would put
on
them
the
on
internet.
like not like slammed cars, but you know, like nice show cars that you would see at like the convention shows. But I mean, I don't really like convention shows because they're just inside.
See, I think
but,
spinners on drift cars would be fantastic.
Yeah, I would love
think
that too.
visually, it just creates such a look.
like I don't even know how they activate when you're popping clutch or something, anything like that. I don't know if they just fly off. I don't know.
I
But-
pitched it to Ken once, and he just looked at me.
See, like
Yo.
He was just like,
Yeah.
because that's the next generation.
yeah.
That generation.
I mean, me and him technically are both Gen X, but he's closer to Boomer. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
like, it's a
Oh,
little different. But
God.
yeah,
Whoa.
what?
That's-
It's true.
That's
I mean,
crazy
I guess
talk.
you're a millennial.
Yeah.
Are you Gen Z technically?
I mean, I was born in '98.
I have no idea what that means. That's crazy.
Yeah, same.
27.
I was on my way. I was already in college, but sure.
Yeah. I mean,
You
I have
could
some
literally
people,
be my son.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Oh man. Yeah, I think spinners should come back though. Like, if there's one thing you take away from this podcast, someone that's listening to this,
of all the things we
bro,
talked
I will
about.
rep. Like, they got to look nice. Obviously, they can't be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cash spinners. But if someone could do it, like, I'll
The tech is
gladly
the
rock
tech
it.
is
Yeah,
there.
the tech is definitely there.
It's been there.
Yeah. So that's one thing I think car culture is missing as far as aesthetics on a car. Like, yeah, we need spinners back for sure. Undergoes back. We need
This
spinners
is
back.
amazing.
This is like the equivalent of Subway takes on cars. Like this is a hot take, and I 100% agree.
Yeah.
That's a
A
good
hot take. Spinners need a big comeback.
Yes.
What car would you run spinners on of your own collection? You got FDRX7 probably. I think it would look best on that.
I have a video.
The
I'll send
Lancia would
I'll
the
send it to you guys.
Lancia would
Yes,
be like
yeah.
The
would be
Lancia,
weird.
though, it would be weird because they're 15s, and I think a spinner that small would just be like it'd be like one of those like hats with the fucking the whirly gig. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I think JDM cars, like the JDM classics, with
Yeah, on
spinners,
the FD on spinners would have some
FD and C5 on spinners are what I see right now.
I'd run my D2 S8 on spinners. I've secretly wanted to put underglow on that car because I'm eventually going to put it on air and run it on 20s. And something about like really big body. So it's a big body Audi S8.
Yeah.
Like something about big body cars slammed to the floor glowing is just kind of
Pretty
like that
sick, huh?
VIP
That's
spec
dope.
is just
That's
kinda
dope.
cool.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Man, spinners. All right, yeah.
I would love to see it. I'm shocked that it hasn't happened yet.
Let
'Cause
one
it-
of us know, whoever's listening. Like,
Because like
you got it.
I think you kind of answered it, but I'm curious if you have any other thoughts on it. But like with social media right now and what's getting attention and what's next and like what are you looking at? Like, I don't know, what's your relationship with social and how do you one up what you've been doing before? Or do you even care?
I mean, I just like cars. I think I got just people really like my photos and just I
Yeah.
kind of gained traction on social media because of that. But
And I think
I mean-
you might have answered it before a little bit too, but like it's for you now because at your young age, you've seen a lot.
yeah,
You've seen so many more cars than either of us saw at that age. Like every supercar, every hypercar, every RS, whatever. So is now like the rarest of the rare. That's the next big thing for you.
yeah, like I really want to shoot a Hennessy, like a Hennessy F5 Zinger. They're based in Long Beach. I want to shoot one of those out in the wild.
A Zinger like with the CZ or
Yeah,
a Singer?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
CZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just cars like that. Like I'm gonna go to Japan at the end of the year. I want to shoot like I definitely know there's gonna be like Valkyrie. I think the F50 GT was at Car Week. I never even got to see that car. Like just stuff
sick.
true unicorns.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
one of
yeah.
five. CLK GTR. Luckily
I'm going to
taken
the
photos of one
Idler
of them.
race with RWB this year. You should come.
Let me know.
It's in August.
Let me know what part of August I might be at Car Week.
I don't know. Back half of August, I think. I
Okay.
forget, yeah.
Let me know. I'm down.
I've actually never been to Japan, which is weird.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Wait, now this isn't what we're talking about now. You have to go to Japan not only for the drifting, but I mean, man, like Japan is heaven for car culture.
Yo,
heaven.
if Scotto comes back at JDM, dude, yes. And
you have RWB.
No, actually, that'd be
But
insufferable.
But you know that, like, I don't dislike JDM
No, I
cars.
know,
I just
I know.
don't fit in many.
oh,
'Cause
right.
trust me,
Oh,
the other day I was talking to Vinny about trading him my Ferrari for his new GTR.
Mm.
Yeah, because I was like
The
I-
R33?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, with a little cash on top.
Yeah.
But like an R33 on a Rega Masters, like that's like
I
a
love-
perfect car for me. Like I love because
Yeah,
remember when we had that R33, I drove that to Vegas and I was like, oh yeah, this is like finally a car I fit in.
Amazing
I
highway
just don't
car.
like other
Yeah.
than like Evos and Subarus, like his FDRX7, like I have no idea how Kaizo fits in that. Like I do not fit
Custom seat.
yeah, I do not fit in like
Insane.
most J cars. So because it's not that I don't like them, it's just like when you don't fit in them. you're
Yeah,
like,
that makes
"Ah,
sense.
You would
whatever."
just appreciate, I think, the
No,
culture.
the culture is
and
amazing.
All
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
And the reason I never went was because I always worked with a group of people where other people appreciated it more. So when I was at 0 to 60, it was like the guys who were more into that. I was like, you should take this trip. And then when I was, when we were at Hooning again, it was like, okay, like Hurt, you should go here. You should go, like because I was like, I'll take the Germany trip.
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like
You'll
that,
also be an automatic celebrity there because everybody's
because
going to
of
think
my
you're
height.
you're a
Yeah.
basketball player.
Yeah.
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 You got some more questions for us?
Man,
The generations meet.
let me think. I asked you the main question was like, about the inflation of car prices.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to confirm
really,
it.
It's something that's really unfortunate. Like I see it, and I actually we've asked this question on the pod before. It's like even just new cars. Like what is the new enthusiast car
Yeah.
that other than the GT86? There's very few things out there that are affordable and fun to drive.
Yeah.
The other thing, go ahead.
Were the enthusiast cars that were brand new on sale like affordable, or
Sure.
was it? Yeah, you can
Yeah,
afford
because like obviously front wheel drive cars were a lot cooler during our era.
Oh.
But so you've got like the Civic, we didn't get the Type R, but we got the SI, the Volkswagen GTI. Like these were all these
I
cars
guess
were
that's
like
true.
sub $30,000.
Yeah, because I got in 2005, my
Integra.
first new car was a Subaru WRX. I got it new. I leased it because
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
the monthly
yeah.
payment I could afford. But still, like, yeah, back then,
What was that new? 32 or something?
27 or 26.
Yeah.
Mine was 26. And like, yeah, I worked really hard. Like I did valet parking like 6 days a week in the summer to be able to afford that. But it was like, I could do that, like, I don't know like what job at that age you can run now and get like,
I think a problem that we might see in the future is like there's going to be a lot of young people that want to get into these enthusiast cars, and who knows how expensive they will be.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing that I think like shifted the whole perspective of it is I don't remember seeing Lamborghinis out in the wild. Like
Oh,
that just wasn't a
I do.
thing.
Well,
You-
I mean,
But you know what I'm saying? Like when I was like in the late 90s and early 2000s, like it was really special to see something like that.
yeah.
Like the amount of GT3 RSs running around
Right now.
right now in the streets of California is crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy. And like that car is hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I think like and we weren't paying attention to that as a kid. I think you were looking at things that felt like more in reach. You're talking about things like Supras and stuff like that. It's like they weren't affordable, but they weren't hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So like the ceiling really raised up as to like what became car culture. And look, there were always the kids who pined over the Enzo, and the McLaren, but like the McLaren F1 like didn't hit $1 million until like 2005. Right. Like and that was the most expensive car in the world to us. I'm sure there was some bullshit classic fucking steampunk thing that people paid a lot of money for, but to what mattered to us, that wasn't much. The Enzo was like a $300,000 car,
and that's crazy because they go for like up to $5-7 million now.
I know,
and it's like what the heck,
and, so it's like though we didn't. I think it wasn't just that there were no low price cars. It's like I don't really remember feeling like the community as a whole was reaching for these big things. Like you could just have a really cool Civic, a really cool GTI, and you felt like you were part of the community. You know, where like now it's like everybody wants a GT3 RS, and guess what? Not everyone can have a GT3 RS.
And if you don't have one, it's like, oh, whatever. It's like the first, like, you hit mega success on YouTube and you get a 3RS.
Here's one. How much do you think I paid for my 911? I'll give you the stats on it. I bought it in 2010. It had 33,000 miles on it. It was all original. It had aftermarket turbo twists on it, but it had the one fender had been repainted, but otherwise great car.
What year was
it? Was a 1991 turbo.
Bruh, if you paid, I mean, 2010, you probably pay like 20-30 grand.
35 grand. It's a turbo. It's a turbo.
Oh, okay.
Turbo. 35 grand.
Yeah. I know where the market's gone.
When he was buying that thing, all of us in the office at the magazine we were working at were like, bro, just buy an Evo 10. What are you going to do with an old 911? Like, that's whack. And he's like, I don't know. I just kind of like it. It's like a natural progression. We're like, all right, like, yeah, it's cool. But like 35 grand for a 91, you're crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. And now you're like, put it down for a down payment for a large house.
Yes. Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. So I mean, so all of it has like really, really exploded. And 2010, I feel like was the takeoff.
2010 was a big one, but for me, also COVID changed so much in that, like, for us, having one cool car was sick. If somebody had two cool cars, like an S2000 and an STI, it's like, yo, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's
not
nuts.
what you do for a living. Like, it's like you sell drugs.
Yeah, you sell drugs. And then all of a sudden, like, and myself included, like, COVID happened and everybody had 5 cars. And some of them were projects and some of them were cool. But all of a sudden, like, everyone you know has a collection. And it went nuts. Everybody started buying cars left and right. Wow. And like that shifted a lot of things. Like all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, let's just keep buying like cool used cars and build them up and tune them and everything.
I think that it's weird. It goes hand in hand because I think the popular people are starting to like cars more, right?
Yeah,
like
true.
Car culture as a whole is going up. So there are more people in the space, and maybe that includes some people with more money than others that just got into it late and just want to. I need this car. It's my dream car now. 40 grand for like another car. That's like
so. There's a piece of that because you have this older audience that has disposable income and they're buying up that stuff. You also have that the cars have become the new art to the rich, and art. The reason why the rich buy art is because it's not taxable as easily. So I could buy my car for 35 grand. And then I can go sell it for $300,000, right? And I don't have to pay capital gains on it.
Oh.
I mean, technically, you probably are supposed to pay capital gains, but there's no tracking system.
Yeah. It's not like there is an art. If you made that much in stocks, like it's automatically filed. You have to pay that tax.
Yeah. So if you were sitting here today and you said, okay, I've got $100,000 I want to invest in, right? Do I want to put it into whatever, fucking this stock, that stock, right? SpaceX, right? Or do I want to put it into cars? And if you really had a good idea of like, hey, well, this is probably what's going to be worth something in 10 years, the upside to the car thing is that you'll probably get away paying no taxes on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Where you're
looked at it like that.
gonna pay a capital gains, which is a large percentage tax on any other money you make. So a lot of people now are investing in cars. The other thing,
Bro,
and this is way shadier, and a lot of people launder money through cars.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're cleaning their money through buying cars overpriced and moving them around.
Yeah.
So like that's
or
a whole,
under, and it was like engine blown, whatever, and then fixed it and then move it.
yeah. So like there's a lot of people have realized that, and then the other part is there's just become a dick measuring contest for rich people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like.
Yeah, to a certain
It's like
extent, like,
collecting
you know,
Pokemon.
It's like or like sneaker culture. It's
Yeah.
like I just
That makes
want it
sense.
all, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, there's that, and I, as someone who loves the hobby, wants to see more younger and younger kids get into it. Like I was stoked to hear you say you got into it from video games. Because there was a period of time when the Prius was really cool, and that's all anyone talked about. That everyone kept asking me, you know, what's the future of cars? Like people don't like cars anymore.
oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there was this stat about how young kids were no longer getting their driver's license, right, when they turned 16 or 17, and that was like this really upsetting stat in the industry. And I said, they're all just playing video games. Like, don't worry, they're there.
Oh, they will get there.
Like, we know they're there. Like, they're playing Forza, they're playing Gran Turismo, they're playing Midnight Club. Like, like they're there, and they're gonna get there. And I think that really is true. Like, I think because you look at the cars that are cool today, it's like a lot of those cars became cool because you played them in video games.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
true. I'm glad Forza Horizon 6 just came out, and now
Have you played
Japan. I have only watched people play it. I've never played it yet, which you know I should soon. But I mean, I've played Gran Turismo a lot. I love Gran Turismo.
It's dope. That could be the Midnight Club for the next generation. You know,
It could be.
That's
Yeah.
setting the new set of enthusiasts.
Yeah, I think Forza Horizon did a good job on releasing Japan and doing what they're doing right now at a good time because I mean, yeah, Japanese car culture is like no other. Like, you can't even relate yet, but maybe in August we can.
I mean, I've seen it all, but not up close and personal. I've done the research.
If
but
the feeling you get
I
is
know.
just like, whoa, like you gotta go. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What other questions do we have on the generational conflict? Okay, here's a good one. Can you explain to us why you guys like Burble Tune?
There's no one. I mean, maybe it was a stage, but I
Don't tell me there's no one because I motherfucker drove by like 6 seconds ago. I could hear it.
I think when you're in a car, because like you know, when I first got to the M3,
Yeah.
man, like I just love the way it sounds and like
You're just
the
deselling
loudness.
everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like the downshifts, all that stuff. Maybe it's a phase, like someone who maybe gets their.
Do you like it?
I don't personally.
Did
Like,
you ever?
No.
Be real.
I like two step. I like anti-lag.
Okay, so that's
like,
the next question because
Yeah.
like you got like that's definitely I don't know like we all revved our cars, but I feel like two-step and two-step competitions and like that being a reason to get together is huge. And I will first admit that I have reached an age where like I think concerts are too loud. So so clearly I'm already in a place where I'm like this concert would be way better if it was just a little bit lower.
Yeah, I'm far from that.
This is what you got. This is what you got to look forward to, man. Because I was the kid who used to be at punk shows getting his ears blown out. So, but what like for you, like the two-step thing, like like explain it. Like why do you love that?
Okay, so
Because I do know that's a bit of the
when you're
thing.
doing a Burble tune, it's just like pops and it's just noise, right? But when
Yeah.
you're listening and actually next to a car that's full on two-stepping, spitting flames, you actually feel it in your body.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of the loudest things you'll ever hear. And it's like,
I know.
you don't hear that every
Yeah, it's
day.
pretty cool. So I'll explain it. And I'm having a little bit of a moment here too, listening to like how your car world was shaped by Midnight Club. Mine was shaped by Gran Turismo. I realized why I'm such a fucking nerd about cars. Because to me, everything was like handling and specs and spring rates and damping and all that.
Yeah.
For us, Burble Tune sucked because it's not real. It's fake.
that
It's
too.
engineered. You have to tune it in. Whereas if he drives that RWB around, it pops and bangs and it burbles because it's got a really stupid old cam in it that it has no other choice.
Yeah.
There's fuel going in and it's exploding. Like that's real. That's legit.
Yeah.
Where it's not somebody like, yo, $150, I'll tune you in, like a little, it's just natural. And for us, it's a poser thing.
On a previous show, we referred to it as stolen valor. Right? It is stolen valor, pops and bangs.
Yeah.
Because like if you have a car that actually does it because it does the thing, then
Yeah.
that's fine. But if you tune it in and like I didn't even know this was a thing, but ghost cams
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
where they
yeah.
tune it in to sound like you have
Oh, yeah.
a cam in your
Yeah.
car.
It sounds like Lopey.
Yeah.
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 They even the Evo 9, like when they put MyVec in the Evos, the variable cam timing, it took away the lope of a big cam. And so I asked my tuner because, like, again, it was Hoonigan. I was like, you know,
He's like, I'm
I
guilty.
gotta impress Zach. You know, I gotta show him how a 4-cylinder can chop. And my tuner looked at me and he's like, I'm not doing that.
How dare you?
He's like, do you know how stupid your timing table has to look for that to happen? He's like, I'm not doing it. I
You
was
know
like,
why he's not
okay.
doing that? Because at some point you're gonna bring that tune to someone else.
Oh,
Someone's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
open
yeah,
that and go,
for sure.
Who tuned this?
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny because my first car was a Honda Accord Daily. I still daily it to this day, and you know I'm an experienced car guy now. Like I've seen a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you know I know the difference between a Burble tune and an actual car that does that.
Yeah.
But when you're getting into it, you just are like, I want my car to sound like this,
would
and you
ex-
just show.
yeah,
I get it. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
for
So
sure, for
when
sure.
my
Yeah, yeah.
Honda, I was like, I just want it to be louder, and then so this random muffler shop was like, oh, we got you. Just
Yeah.
cut the mufflers and straight piped the
dude,
Honda.
yeah, it's still happening.
we all
it's still
do it.
happening.
No, yeah, I think it's that's a part of it. Yeah.
a time-tested tradition handed down from the cavemen to us, cutting off your exhaust.
Cutting
Yes.
off,
Yeah.
installing like
Fuck,
you know
yeah.
the Mustang boys put in cherry pipes
Yeah,
and like all
yeah,
those
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
things. And yeah.
I think it's just a part of like just experiencing what's cool, what isn't.
sure.
You don't know. You're just like,
It's
I
your
like cars.
first
I'm
car.
going
Like
in.
you're not gonna drop, $500 on a muffler. Like, but you want that sound. You want something.
I love my loud cars. That 911 is pretty loud.
Yeah.
Like it's especially loud on the chip.
Yeah.
This thing's loud. My Nova is like unfortunate. Like
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
really, really
It's
loud.
hilarious.
All of them I think deserve to be loud. I find that as I get older though, like those cars take a lot of energy for me to drive.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I just want to go somewhere. And
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah.
RS2 is the perfect amount of loud for me. And by the way, I probably shouldn't say this, but that car's straight piped. So it's like, yeah, I don't want it to be straight piped,
But the
that's
turbo
how I
quiets
got
it down a lot.
But the turbo quiets it
yeah.
down a lot. Yeah,
That's
but
cool.
it has that good sound to it. You know, I need to install cats on it because it just smells really bad, and like I just don't care about that anymore. I'm like,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
not cool to me.
Yeah.
I've like lost the interest in that. Like I get it and I understand it, but it's definitely something that I think is like this major divide between the generations. Like the older guys are like, these guys doing two-step competitions, this just sucks. I can stand in your shoes and be like, nah, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I get
Yeah.
it. Like I used to just sit on, I would love doing burnouts just on the rev
Yeah.
limiter in my front wheel drive car.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
with your homies holding it back by the mirror.
Yeah, it's like that's just fucking cool.
Yeah, it's fun,
Like,
yeah.
I totally get that. But it's a question we had to ask.
I know
again,
people-
this is me representing the old head delegation.
No, I know some people they just get annoyed when they see kids all pull their phones out and run towards a car that's doing the two-step, but for them it's
Yeah.
like new. Like they probably have only
They're
seen
experiencing
that.
it for the first time
For the
in
first time,
person.
you got to remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I first saw two-step ever. Like, well, first I saw it on the internet, and I was like, I got to go to a meet just to see this. And then seeing it in person, it was crazier in person because you could feel it. And so I'm pretty sure these new
You do
people,
feel
are
it in the
kids that
chest.
are-
It is
Oh, for sure.
definitely an experience.
For sure.
Now, it gets to a certain extent. I feel like having a loud car, you have power. Like, if you have a loud car, you go to a meet, you rev it once or twice. Everyone starts talking about it, like, bro, this car is super loud. But if you're revving the whole meet, you become
annoying
the
real
most
quick.
annoying person.
There's
So
an Overton window of revving.
Yes. I believe like with the 5 revs and a couple pops, bro, chilling at least until the end of the meet. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
support
Pull in.
that. I fully support
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
I fully support
Especially
that.
if it sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
If it's a VQ,
Maybe
go
one
home.
or 2 revs. Okay, bet.
Can I tell you like a signature move I enjoyed as a kid rolling into a spot is you coming in, pop a rev, then you turn the ignition off and roll into the spot.
Oh,
like
the drag racer?
Yeah, the
drag racer
ignition
stuff?
off on the rev up.
Yeah.
Probably horrible for engines.
Oh, absolutely terrible.
But man, did that sound cool. Like that was like, and then like you just rolled in just quiet.
Yeah,
you know,
and
it's
everyone's like whispering.
like, oh shit. Yeah. Like, yeah.
That's why I with the Evo 9 was like evolved noise for me because I had a sequential and crazy diffs. So I would roll up to a meet and like the exhaust, it was loud, but the transmission was louder than the exhaust. Oh, yeah. So like, you know, you would stop and someone would pull forward and you ka-chink, and everybody's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, all right, yeah, that's kind of sick.
I will say, like, I think one of the coolest noises in a car is a good transmission whine.
Oh, yeah.
But the ultimate noise in a car. Ultimate. Like, the noise that if I hear, I'm like, the pneumatic shift.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a car that has a pneumatic shift, because that's real race car shit.
Yeah.
And I respect your commitment to the game to drive that on the street.
Yeah.
And you don't hear it often. Like, obviously, all of Ken's
That's a
cars,
very specific
a lot
car.
of Ken's cars have the pneumatic shift. And
but now you got guys driving cup cars on the street.
I know.
And like the 991 plus cup cars all have the.
Shout out Funded Trust.
That is just wild. All like, and that's like a whole thing now too. Is like, let's just get race cars and make them to the street. TJ Hunt was on.
That's the next level.
He was talking about that
like
the whole time.
That's what I was kind of getting at with the social media question. Is like, what's next?
I think I think race cars on the road is
race cars on the street is the
that's
thing.
definitely like a newer thing I've personally been seeing. Like I don't remember seeing that like often at all, and now it's becoming a little more common, which I'm all about. And I hope cops know that.
Well, it used to be, let's make my street car look like a race car on the road. I was a big fan of that, still am. And then it became, let's just actually take race cars and plate them and drive them on the road. Also a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Like I think,
dude, you want to talk about being tired after driving a car? Like if I took my Evo to the canyons and on the drive back, no AC, the sun is beating down, all carbon doors, so you're just huffing epoxy, and then like transmission noise and diffs, and like everything's hard mounted, so the gear stick is like, you know, like it takes everything out of you, everything. You need a nap after it, but it's sick.
Yeah, driving the Z, I definitely could relate, because after a track day, I'm like, oh my god, that was insane. I could be good without drifting for a couple days, and then it'll come back.
That's your drift car. Oh yeah, we talked about it before. Is it? Do you drive to and from the track?
No, I have a trailer there.
You do?
Yeah,
oh, dang.
It's not your typical.
Right.
It's not your typical Z. It's a LS1 swap.
I've seen pictures.
And
you
then
got
the pipes,
exhaust out the
coming out the
hatch.
hood, and I mean it's just really really loud, and then even the shifter and stuff is
where do
pretty
you go
crazy,
mostly? Apple Valley?
Yeah. I mean, there's not many places these days, but eventually, like hopefully, with some of the meets I throw, I can drift in other areas as well. We'll see.
What's next for you after this? What are you doing? Like, meaning like, do you see drifting being where you're putting all the focus in? You still doing as much photography, or you kind of?
I still do a lot of photography. I think just right now I'm focused more on the events and sharing what I've built from my photography with other people. So it's cool because now photographers are kind of getting their light a little bit, because we know cars from every culture, like just anything we're interested in. So over my time of shooting, I just have met a lot of friends. After I shoot a car, we usually go out to dinner or something, and then I tell them, "Oh, I'm doing a car meet. You should come. Like, show off your whip." So that just accumulates over time, and now there's just a bunch of different types of cars there, and photographers like Larry. He did a huge meet for Formula Drift.
Yeah,
like probably
his
one of
meets
the
have
biggest
been going
meets
crazy
ever. Yeah, and because I've seen a good amount of cars now, I want to bring those cars that I've shot to new people who are getting into cars, and that's why I do the meets, is because maybe you haven't seen this certain car and I might have shot it before. And I've had people comment like, "Yo, could you bring this car to this meet, the next meet?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
because you want other people to feel that feeling."
Yeah, like that's
really
I'm
cool.
calling my meets photo meets, because you come, photographers and car enthusiasts can come, and you just take photos of cars, car meet, photo meet.
That makes sense. I like that.
So
That's really interesting, because like car meets for us back in the day were just a way to meet with other people that had the same type of car as you. So you could talk about like what parts you got, what'd you do on this, what'd you do on that. Whereas what you're putting together sounds more like you're putting together a car meet for the spectators more so.
Yes.
That's crazy.
There's a lot of people, unfortunately cars are getting more expensive, and like if you can't afford a certain car yet, you could at least see this rare car in person, like with a bunch of other cars that you might have never seen before. Like I'll bring a lowrider and put that next to a hypercar, and certain people like that, certain people like
I
another
love
thing.
that. Yeah.
So it gets people talking as well, and you find enthusiasts that everyone likes cars, but you start opening your eye a little more to a certain type of car you might have never even thought of if you pull up.
Have you ever been to like I don't even know if I think Whittier still does. Have you ever been to like
The lowrider
like
cruise nights? Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That is something that you need to figure out how to bring back to car culture.
Mm-hmm.
I give you that one as
Okay.
as a
Cruise night?
task. We had in New York, we had DPA, we had Francis Lewis Boulevard, and like I don't know, man, some of the greatest nights were just cruising with your friends.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's something about it because it's like a car show, but you're driving.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you just keep looping.
Yeah.
And you get to see everybody because like you know one car's going this way, and then you make the U-turn, and you kind of
Come back.
And
yeah.
there's something. I mean, and obviously there's bad shit that happens too during that,
Yeah.
but like. I've always wanted to figure out like how can we find a place where we could do like legal cruising and like just set that up. And I mean honestly, the closest thing there's this event. It would actually be. I think you would love going to it. Is the Woodward Dream Cruise in Detroit?
Oh,
I don't know how long it is anymore, but they used to do. It used to be like a 26-mile cruise.
It's like a parade in a way.
Yeah, but I mean thousands and thousands. It's mostly muscle cars, but. Just seeing all that out, it was just so like you just driving for hours, and it's just super cool.
what's that area by under 6th Street Bridge? A lot of people are opening up car shops there right now.
Oh,
You know what
they're
I'm
calling
talking
it Car District.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
you've got like
yeah.
Big Time's over there,
Lean Customs.
Lean Customs over
Yep.
there, Motor Union is over there.
they're definitely trying to start another wave of like the cruise nights. I mean,
That's cool.
It's a street and like it seems really, really cool. Like I know they're still renovating in the area,
Yeah.
but they see the vision and I see it too. Like they're lining up all car shops and then people are just parking.
That's really
there,
interesting.
hanging out.
Yeah, it's a
It
cool
is a
spot.
really dope thing that they're doing over there. And I know a couple other people who've actually just rented space over there.
Yeah.
There's more and more car stuff moving in there, which is really rad. It's funny because original Hoonigan was like not that far from there. We started over there, and back then there was nothing there.
Nothing at all.
In downtown, it was just really super sketchy. The thing that's weird for me though is like driving to downtown sucks. It is my least
Yeah.
favorite
So
place
rough.
in all
I
of
know.
LA
Yeah.
to have to drive to.
Yeah.
The traffic is always trash, and the roads are trash.
Yeah, I've just now realized that like with that car.
But it works. But like,
33.
I mean, that's one of the reasons that Hoonigan moved to Long Beach was it was just easier to get to for like car culture. We would throw events and people would be like, "Yeah, lost my oil pan on the way."
Yeah, the E30 homies, man. Oh man.
But I mean, like even like Era Picture, like they're up over that area too, not in there.
Yeah,
but, like,
there
right
is
over
kind of a. I didn't really think
Downtown-
about that, but you're right.
downtown's
It's got a
actually-
groundswell going on of car enthusiasts. Yeah, it's really cool. It's cool to see.
Which would never be the place I would imagine. Like
No,
yeah,
but it never
downtown
is.
LA.
It never is. It's where like shop spaces start becoming affordable, just like cars. You know, like the cool people are like, I can't afford like a huge space in Long Beach or like especially up Santa Monica. Forget it. But DTLA, big warehouse spaces available. Looks kind of cool. There's a cool vibe. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it. And you're seeing that happen.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So I look forward to the future for that area. Like I think as long as no one misbehaves like too much over there, I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. I mean, I've seen it. I haven't been up there for an event, but I know the area really well because Fantasy Factory used to be over there. But
And Gym 7 filming,
yeah,
like
yeah,
right
it
around
was-
Magnus's.
We were blocks away from
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
but like all the photos that come out of there is cool, and I think they also do a really good job of like it's also a very eclectic mix, which is something like we always tried to do back in the day. Was like, how do you get exactly lowriders next to drift cars?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like all the lowrider crew in Long Beach used to always hang out at our shop. you know, which was
so cool.
and I like that's a culture like in and of itself that like is just so unique. and
I
different.
love lowrider culture. I live right by El Dorado Park, and
Oh
every
yeah, they
couple
do.
Sundays,
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go
yo,
crazy.
this last Sunday was nuts. Like I just parked up and I just watched, and like some of the guys they haul ass on like 13-inch wheels.
Yeah.
and it's
Rolling
crazy,
on
crazy.
Vogues.
But it's like the variety you see in there. It's such an alien culture to me, but like the detail that they have on the frame rail underneath that you wouldn't see unless there was a mirror. Like that's so sick.
Yeah, I think
And the paint and everything.
lowrider culture is such an interesting car culture itself because
It's all style.
it's all style and they're not really on the internet. You know what I
It's
mean?
not-
Like they are, but they're
is
not
all
like-
style, but like there's actually their performance is in the way you
Hoppers.
work the switches.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's
that
true.
is
That's
its
true.
own
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not easy. It's not just like pushing a button. Like
You're right.
that rhythm and all of that. Like I learned that.
and the equipment.
Yeah, like Lloyd.
Oh,
like
when Lloyd-
I would go ride with Lloyd, and like man, like you hit the switch. I won't feel like I was getting thrown out of the car.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can total a car doing it the wrong way.
Oh yeah. You see the springs pop out.
Yeah, because
control
like
arms.
if you pop it up and then the wheels are sucked in and it lands all the way
Hard.
down, like
Yeah, it's like the
dude,
landing with no
struts
suspension.
through the
I will say this is a really interesting thing. I've thought this. One of my favorite things about raising my son in Long Beach, because like as a New Yorker, it feels really weird to like realize that like I'm raising a child who's not a New Yorker, right? Like he's a Long Beach kid. One of my favorite things about raising him here is to him, lowriders are normal.
Oh, that's
you know what I'm saying?
sick.
That's pretty rare.
He sees them all the time.
That's
Like,
amazing.
they hang out at the park here. Like we
Yeah.
see him cruising down Atlantic. Like we always just see lowriders. Like it's not even like in the beginning he'd be like, "Oh, Daddy, look a lowrider," because I pointed out. But now it's just like, yeah, there's,
Everywhere.
Like, yeah, cool. There's a Broham next to us on 3 wheels. Like,
It's so universal.
and it's
crazy,
like, and I
bro.
love that because as a kid in New York, I used to read lowrider magazine as a kid, lowrider bicycle magazine, and I wanted to like understand the culture so much more because it just seemed so different and so unique.
You know what though? It's a really interesting thing. You look at lowrider culture and like we're talking about, wow, no one's making like raw performance cars, whatever. There hasn't been a lowrider made since like the 90s at the very latest.
And that's like really stretching
Bubble,
it.
like the Lincolns and everything. But really it's like 50s, 60s, 70s, you know?
You had
And
the
like,
early bombs, then you obviously had the 6.3, the 6.4 Impala were the classics, and then there's
and
a
that
bunch of
culture
70s
is still
cars
like
and 80s
out
cars.
here. It's still thriving. And it's like I see more of them than I've ever seen. I feel like so that's cool. Maybe we got that to look forward to.
I also think the thing that lowrider culture does really well that I think is actually fallen apart in regular car culture, and maybe it's because they're not as heavy social push for them, is the car club and community supports each other in a really strong way. So everybody helps each other build a car. Like the car club will get together to get a car built and pushed out for a new event. And that's how car culture felt to me in the 90s, right? Like my buddy Jay Slack's building a car for H2O, and it's like all of us are at his house for like 3 weeks before, like working on it every night to get it there. That feels like that's changed a bit. Like that doesn't feel. Maybe it's different. Maybe you could tell me that still does exist. I mean, it still does.
I'm just getting into building cars, fixing, working on cars. Like I'm at the end of the day a photographer getting into the actual deep like parts of
that's
cars
cool.
rather than looks. So I mean, right now, I mean, you definitely need a community of friends that know what they're doing. I feel like because of how complicated cars have gotten, it's low-key a privilege to find someone that knows how to work on a certain car, and you want to keep that person close. I think just because, at least in drift culture, like, you know, when you break something, you want to make sure you get it done and fixed correctly again so you can go back out. And like, if it's done incorrectly, then you're like out until you find someone that knows how to work on it or you do it yourself. So I think it's still there, but it's not like everyone's doing it now for sure. Like, I feel like most people would want to pay a shop instead because of how modern cars are and how complicated they are, you know?
All right. I got one last generational question, but anyone got any other ones before I hit it?
Go for it.
Okay. Around the room, 3-car. What's your 3-car solution? I don't believe a 2-car solution exists. I actually think it's really a 4-car, but we'll let it go with a 3-car solution. So 3-car solution, like these are the only 3 cars you have. You can have whatever you want.
Okay.
But you get what are your 3 cars?
3-car solution for me is a super weekend car. I guess what most people call it.
Name it. What is
that,
it?
That would be
car?
God. I want a race car, a weekend car, and a daily that you're comfortable in. So I guess the weekend car would be like a gated Murcielago. Doesn't have to be LP640, but I think
Sick.
Yeah. I'm just thinking,
It's great.
I think in the weekend, you know,
Yeah,
upward
what
doors.
color?
I think I would do like candy apple red, silver wheels, maybe some spinners on there.
Yeah. Yo, spinners on the Mercy.
Yeah, spin, roll up. You're still spinning. Doors go up. Oh man,
This is why you have
That's
10% female following you.
Yeah. That's actually, yep. We've answered it.
Yeah, we've answered it. It took this long. That's honestly the only reason we brought you on the show. We're trying to up our stats.
Oh God,
then
I'm
10%
starting to
is like,
realize,
no.
like, dude, this is so. Oh God, wait, did you name all yours?
No, he just did
the
that
Mercy.
one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
That-
sick.
oh
He
my
dropped
gosh.
the mic on the first one.
Yeah.
Then race car. I mean, bro. It would probably be some type of drift car, like maybe S15 street build. You know, like go into the toge, just normal drive. And then as a daily, that's probably the hardest one because I would still I wouldn't want to get in a big car. At least how I am right now, I don't want to get into a big car and just chill. Like I want to still drive. So, man, the daily car is the hardest one. I'd probably just say, Honda Accord.
Yeah, nice.
All right,
To be low key.
Keep it humble. Honestly, that lineup would look sick in a driveway.
Yeah. Like, what do you daily? Oh yeah.
What you got, Ron?
All right, so I'm starting to realize like this generational thing is super real because everybody harps on millennials as like, millennial gray, like everything's super minimalist, whatever.
Well, isn't it now millennial green? You guys got really excited.
Yeah.
Added a little tone to it.
Forest green's fucking sick. Don't even come at me with that. But it is, yeah. We're getting typecast for that. So my lineup is very similar in purpose, completely different in the actual car. So
Fire.
A daily driver, a race car, and a weekend car, right? Okay. Daily driver, Land Cruiser 200 series. I could talk for 2 hours about that alone.
Do you go off-roading? Because I've never been off-roading.
I
want
haven't
to
in a
bad.
long time. When I lived in Utah, every single weekend.
Okay.
Every single weekend. Here, not so much because it's just trails are blown out. They're further away, and it's all like
Just like
deserty
tracks.
and yeah.
Don't let him be too jaded. Off-roading is still really sick in California.
It's amazing
compared
in California.
to a lot of other
It's
places.
amazing in
okay.
California. It's just like
In Utah, it's like ideal.
It's like
Yeah.
it's perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
So the Land Cruiser 200 series, it tows. It's got a forever service life, like whatever. Race car is, I actually have it right now. Evo 6, like rally car, fully built, like long travel suspension, sequential,
Nice.
like all the stuff. Like I've acquired that dream car. That's like amazing to me.
Fire. Congrats.
And if I went beyond that, it would probably be like a 2005 like Subaru WRC car or something like that, like old school.
Yeah.
And then the fun weekend car, 996 GT2.
Ooh.
I think the
I like the
996
996. I like the 996.
That's an interesting choice. I like
In
it.
yellow.
It's yellow makes it. Yeah, like the minute you say 996 and then you say yellow
Yeah.
or red,
Yep.
I'm in.
Yeah, the 996 GT2. Every time I've ever seen one of those, I'm like, oh, the front bumper is so good. It's such a savage car, like way overpowered, but you could do like a long weekend trip and also tear it up in a canyon. Like that's perfect car for me.
Shout out Midnight Club 2 again for the final boss of Paris was a yellow 996.
Wait, no way.
Yes.
I didn't actually know
Yes.
that. That's sick.
Yeah,
no,
so
there you
sick.
go. Yeah.
Gold
All right.
996, but yeah.
All right.
I can't wait to hear yours.
Mine are my own cars.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Sick.
Weekend car, 911.
Okay.
Daily RS2. And like my utility vehicle would be my lifted 4x4 Econoline van.
I knew it. Yeah. This
By the way,
man,
my van makes 700 horsepower. So it's like
So you guys have
it works.
he loves his diesel van. Maybe more than...
No, it's I like it. It's not here right now, but it's a special van. It's got like a full built engine. This guy's J&K, and it's got a 4x4. Like it's up on. I don't have 35s on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like it's weird, but I really enjoy it. I also really enjoy smoking people who don't think they're gonna get smoked
Oh yeah.
in the van.
That's the cool part.
Yeah, because it's big. Like my kid calls it the monster van. We call it the church van with 2 U's. And yeah, it's a good one. I want to smoke Larry Chen. I
was waiting.
I only say
had
it
to
so we
come
can
out.
cut to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
footage. This becomes a joke on the pod because everybody knows
He
it.
wrecked Larry's turbo.
Oof.
Yeah.
996.
Sorry, Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you both
great.
have bigger cars as like your day-to-day
Oh, for
car.
sure. Yeah, because
Like trucks,
like-
vans.
Yeah, even though the van to me wouldn't be my daily, the van's kind of like my other car at that point. Because I actually think a 4-car solution is the right one, which is like, and it actually wouldn't be the van. I think the 4-car solution,
Daily utility, race car, weekend car.
Yeah, I actually think what you need is a Raptor. Like I think everybody needs a Raptor.
I
in
could
a
get down
4-car
with that.
solution, even though I don't own one. But like the Raptor is like pretty fun to drive, but you can also drive it to your friend's wedding.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like you need that car that can do the other things. And then you get your race car, your project car, and your whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like that, then you get all of that. But I also think that you need a fun car that you can drive every day because race cars and project cars often don't run.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you need that car that just keeps you happy. And that's what the RS2 is for me.
Okay.
It's like, I just enjoy driving it, but it's like, it's not that crazy.
Yeah, I'm just getting into cars, like now actually into cars. So I think my opinions will
Meaning
change a little
owning
bit.
cars.
Well,
and
I
driving
think
cars
I think
versus
as you
taking
get
photos.
on in your car
Yeah.
journey, you'll realize how important it is to have like a truck, whether it's an SUV or a pickup or whatever. Like it changes your world of like what you could do, the parts you can grab, like all that kind
The
of stuff.
marketplace finds you can get when you're
Yeah.
like, I got a truck, I'll be there in an hour.
Yeah, and then you find out what your truck kink is, you know? Like, do you like really off-roady type stuff? Like for me, like if you look up the Instagram, one of my favorite grams on the planet, Cruisers of War.
Ooh.
Like Special Forces and the United Nations and NATO, like they all get Land Cruisers in bulk. And they send them into war zones because they know it'll come right back out. Like sick. But
Ooh.
you could have your own thing, you know? Like
Okay.
yeah.
I haven't got
Scotto's
there yet,
big
but
diesel
I will
van.
definitely update you guys
Yeah.
on my journey.
We have any other generational questions? Are we wrapping this one?
I probably have a ton, but I think we're in a good spot.
We can refresh, come
We've
back.
learned a lot, and at the same time, I feel like we got more common ground than I thought.
Yeah, I know. This is that moment where we realize that until the comments hit and everyone's like, Chaz, you don't speak for me.
Yeah, we'll see what they say,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm kind of nervous,
But also,
hopefully
like
you guys-
we're not like I'm
I
not
don't
I'm not
speak-
I'm not the millennial committee, and you're
Yeah.
not the old man committee. You know, because like
I'm getting close to the old man committee. But
you talk to like Matt Farah and Johnny Lieberman, like they know all the supercars, they know all the everything. They'll talk every
But
last
that's
spec
because
of every
they're
single one.
journalists.
Right.
And I knew all that stuff when I was a journalist
Yeah,
too.
that's
Because
true.
when you're a journalist, the sexiest thing is the new hypercar to talk about. So everyone gets excited about.
Yeah, true.
But I think the minute I got out of journalism, I stopped caring about supercars, which says a lot.
So you think for the most part, like people your age, just like they don't know what most
Probably.
of the new supercars are.
I think just like the generation before me and the generation before that, my generation right now is excited about nostalgia cars because it's like you're at that age. You're like, I want to buy the car that I wish I had when I was 25.
Yeah.
So I think, that's what's really interesting. And you just said
Absolutely.
it. Like Brian Henderson has all this super cool stuff, but he's building a Mark II Golf.
And he's
because
mad
there's-
excited about it.
And he's mad excited about it because I
Ah.
think that like it brings you back to
Yeah,
a certain
it definitely
moment.
does.
And then I think, there's certain cars that like, everyone has their own style or whatever, where you're like, yeah, I want a cool, fast car, but it's also, and this is where I'm not that person, but that's like also convenient to my lifestyle.
Sure.
Right? Like I can understand why so many people like the Audi RS6.
I mean, that car is just go
Because it looks sick, it does all the things, it's really fast. It
Sounds great.
It's not exactly what I like in an Audi because it's really big. I mean, it's basically a slammed.
It also
SUV.
looks good.
Okay, I'm not gonna cap right now. I think I would switch the Honda Accord to RS6. There we go.
All right.
There
And
we
that
go.
is a strong, that's
Amazing
a
daily.
really strong,
Amazing
daily.
daily.
I have said that if I had to only own one car, even though it would be the RS6. Like if I had to own one, like that would probably be it.
That's the one.
If
do
I
it all.
couldn't modify a car.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if
yeah,
I just
yeah.
had to own one stock car, like that's probably
it.
it.
The brand new M5 wagon's also pretty good looking. I don't know. I mean, it just came out, but
They look
I mean,
good. They
they
weigh,
look really good.
They weigh more than a lot of SUVs.
Oh, so probably still
It's
RS6. then, yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, the weight isn't.
I think they
everything, but-
perform well, but yeah. From what I've heard, it's a truck.
Well, Chazzy, it was really nice having you on. It was really enjoyable. I have a lot of hope for the next generation, and
Let's go.
I really hope
I do
you,
too.
I really hope you figure out like a good skid pad in LA, a good place for people to go hang out because it's just such a good part of the car culture, and it's a bummer that it's kind of disappearing for the younger gen. So
2 shout outs. I hope that, well, not 2 shout outs, but I hope if any CHP officer is listening, I hope you are listening closely because I feel like as a car culture, we do not agree with where takeovers have gone and we all just like sliding cars too. Also, thank you to the people my age that have listened and hopefully I'm speaking like with all you guys. So
I mean, I know my own demographics, and as much as I joke that like it's an old man show, your demo is actually a larger size listener than my demo.
cool.
So there you go.
That's cool.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wu-Tang's for the kids.
Yo.
He's like, who's Wu-Tang?
On that note, we out.
I mean, Method Man's like kind of old now.
Yeah, well, yeah.
mailbox is full. The mailbox is full. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Of all the sunglass companies out there, you might ask, why Heatwave? Aside from them being friends of mine, they just make great shades. Awesome styles, cool collabs, smart tech. They even have extra large sizes for big heads like me. And for those of you wearing this on the job, they make ANSI Z87 spec safety glasses too. But what really attracts me to Heatwave is that they are physically a part of our culture. You will find them everywhere, from King of the Hammers to Formula Drift. You'll see everyone wearing Heatwaves at your local track day event. Damn, you might even turn laps with the co-founder Justin, because they're one of us. So, one more reason to choose Heatwave Visual to fix your face. I'm a tool dork. My obsession might even dwarf my addiction to cars. I love collecting unique and specialty tools, which is how I initially fell in love with Wera. First off, they just make aesthetically pleasing tools. They feel good in your hand, they have a great finish, their sizes are universally color-coded, and they are super strong. In 2 decades, I've never broken a tool from Wera. I wish I could say the same about my other tools. But the thing I like the most about Wera is that they create clever solutions for your wrenching woes, because you need over-engineered tools to work on today's over-engineered cars. So if you're ready to step up your tool game, whether it's the Zyklop ratchet or the Joker wrenches, find them at weratools.com. All anyone wants to talk about nowadays is how great 90s car culture was. But what everyone forgets is how bad our slammed cars rode on crappy lowering springs. At the time, that's all my wallet could muster. But when I finally did step up and get some proper coilovers, I went for KWs and never looked back. I've been running their stuff for over 2 decades now, in everything from my 911 to my RS2. I even have a custom set in my Land Rover Discovery. And yes, that bloody thing does finally run. Anyway, because of my long history with them, I am very excited to announce KW as the newest partner in this whole podcast syndicate thing I'm building. Anyway, check them out, kwsuspensions.com.